Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the first one-off event we host here at KCG. Today I'm not alone. I'm after a long time reunited with Dennis, aka Haunted.
Hello, I'm back.
Been a long time. But yeah, today it's the Imola 200 or 200 Miles of Imola, which equalizes to 64 laps plus in-lap. And might be quite interesting. We again don't have the biggest grid, but we have a lot of
stacked grid.
Yeah, I think that describes it quite well.
What is the average, like 2000?
Yeah, it's like barely under 2000 rating. And if you exclude like the top 3 and top and bottom 3, for that regard, you have over 2000. So it's a lot, but we will check on that later. We are checking. Yeah, we also have our crew. No, Michael, no.
Someone alright.
Yeah, we will go through the drivers doing qualifying, which takes place right now. 20 minutes of qualifying should be enough for everyone to get a lap in. And yeah, I was really looking forward to this event. Now it's time. What do you think?
It's gonna be interesting, I think, because the pit strategy is not straightforward. You cannot do just one stop. You would run out of fuel unless you're gonna save massively of fuel. So that would be interesting. I got noticed that the softs last for half a race, but I don't think they're gonna be really nice after just a few laps. So I assume people are gonna do a two-stopper, maybe a one-stopper and splash and dash just for fuel in the end, with hard to soft, or maybe someone else do something different. So that's gonna be interesting to see. The length of the race just makes it so much interesting.
Yeah, it's basically if you go flat out, you do have to do a two-stopper because the fuel just won't last. Maybe some people go for fuel saving, maybe some just go into the pits early to get out of traffic. We have quite a big split in driver levels, let's say, which we will also probably see after qualifying. But nevertheless, even if you're a bit slow on this track, you can still fight. And especially here, strategy is very important because you can overtake, you can fight a lot. This track really has a lot of opportunity to do that, but it obviously costs you valuable time, and you don't want to lose time in a fight. So maybe you just want to use the pits to your advantage to get ahead of the person in front.
Yep. It's going to be interesting to see how different the car's gonna be. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not driving those GT2s a lot. Actually, never. So I don't know the difference of tank sizes. I guess they're the same. Are
I think
they?
they're the same, yeah.
Yeah.
90 liters.
But you don't know but you don't know the individual tire fuel consumption, right? It could be different between different engines.
Yes, some are a bit higher. I think the Corvette has a bit higher than BMW, for example.
Yeah, so that means that the BMW may have a shorter splash and dash, or maybe can even do just a one-stopper with a bit of fuel saving, and that is a strategy. But changing tires and fuel is not that long, right? When you do that in the pit.
Those cars, not.
Yeah, so I don't think the one-stopper with fuel saving is the way to go, in my opinion. And currently we see Sebastian Reh on pole as of now with a 40.8. That's already a sub 41.
Yep. And
India now tops that with a 40.6.
That's
those two are gonna be the guys to beat, I think. But interesting is gonna be who's gonna finish third.
I think even between those, they are pretty close to each other. We already seen that in practice. But if they are getting into fights, you also have to count in people like the Mackenbergs or maybe even Henrik Andreasen, depending on how good he is with the car. Miklos Gall, also a very fast guy who just recently got back into racing, which is great to see. I mean, you know him from season 1, where
Henrik Andreasen is also not a slow man, so.
I mean, both had their moments in KCG where they really showed off a lot of skill. I mean, Miklos Gall probably best known for coming into KCG Season 1. I think it was Watkins Glen together with Ilya Doroskov. And they're both just...
Are you live?
Yeah.
I don't see you. I don't see the stream. Or do you have a different channel?
I'm on the Krystall in news. In news, I sent it in news.
Sorry. I'm actually not followed there.
Oh, come on.
Shame on me. Okay, subscribe. So if you're not followed to this channel, please subscribe, hit the bell button, and don't miss any of the latest future events on this channel.
Yeah, especially I post videos where I dump hundreds of hours into projects nobody watches.
Yeah.
Anyways. Yeah, I think Doroskov and Miklas Gall back in Season 1 in Watkins Glen when they just went into KCG and basically finished 1-2. And I think Miklas Gall went on to get a few more second and third places, and Ilya just won every race possible. Henrik Andreasen also did quite some achievements, especially in Season 2. Podium at Nordschleife in Season 2, and in Season 3 also P3 in Hockenheim. So...
I'm not sure if the Cadillac though is the... wait, is this? Yeah, the Cadillac of Jay Evans. That's a new driver on the grid for today. Never done a KCG race. Joel Evans.
Maybe
with
not
a
from
very exotic choice of the car with the Cadillac. So let's see how he is doing. Christian Bertani. Did he do KCG before? I don't think so.
No, they both are new to KCG, but they're both known from the RaceRoom Discord. Obviously, Christian Bertani being Kalbknoten and Joel Evans being Joel Evans. So I might have seen them before on the RaceRoom Discord, on the official one. Also both from the same racing team. And good evening, Dirk Pfeiffer. Dirk Pfeiffer also someone who wanted to race but unfortunately can't. Which is a shame to see because I think most people know who he is at that point in the racing community.
Yeah, he's a special personality of RaceRoom. Well, that sounds a bit wrong, but I guess you get the gist.
Well, but yeah, very unfortunate. At least we have his compatriot Mike Bartman currently in the pits. But he is driving, also new in KCG. But I think also known at this point, both just haunting drivers at the Nordschleife in their Bentleys. So if you see a Bentley on the Nordschleife, which turns out to be two Bentleys, it's Bartman and Pfeiffer.
Bump drafting each other.
Even in turns. So yeah, we've got those covered, I think. Yeah, then we also have Florian Arendt.
Yeah, I gotta go back to qualifying here. Yeah, with a 40.3. That's an insane time.
I think top times on the leaderboards were 40.2.
Yeah.
So who knows?
I don't think 39.
Still 11 minutes and
39 would be insane.
But it's not impossible, I think.
Yeah,
it's very hard, but...
Yeah, I guess 50 less fuel than on the leaderboard, it might be possible. But
maybe with the lower tire times might actually be helpful, because in some cars, at least I had that feeling in the BMW. For example, if you go into Acqua Minerale, the inside tire, or the left-hand tires are pretty cold, but you go into that turn, you have quite a lot of grip and they heat up very quickly. So it might actually help a bit. But only time will tell. And Sebastian Rey also improved to a 40.5.
No, Sven Mackenberg with a 41.0. Then the first non-Corvette in P4, 41.7. So obviously Ilya and Sebastian Rey are super good, but I'm not sure if the beamer time is representative, because I guess it could be a bit faster. Otherwise the Corvette would be just majorly OP.
Right.
Who would have thought?
No,
I can tell you guys that the Ferrari is absolute garbage.
Yeah, I think even people who don't know this class know that this car is garbage.
Nah.
But yeah, if we move on to some more drivers, we've still got a few ones left. Florian Arendt, I think after Season 3, for the people who watched it, they know him. Found quite a lot of pace in that season. So, yeah.
Didn't he win the race as well?
Yeah, in Assen. He took both wins. right in front of, and now look at that transition. Radoslav Piatkovsky, who took both P2s, both in front of the Magdeburgs in that race. Yeah, just barely couldn't get the win at the Red Bull Ring, unfortunately. So he's still waiting for his maiden win.
I am not sure if that comes today.
Probably not.
The car choice was one. He misclicked.
Well, to be fair, against Ilya or Sebastian, it would be pretty hard for him. But still, yeah, racked up quite a lot of podiums. So he's also pretty fast, pretty consistent.
He almost finished every race on the podium.
Yeah, it's
just 4 races not on the podium. That's insane. Out of 12.
And people call George Russell Mr. of consistency. But, well, yeah, those two really came up through the ranks in Season 3, I'd say. Then we got another newcomer, Mattia Boni. He's kind of one of the lower ranks. I think he started out in the 3 week from what it looked like on his profile. But we're always open for some newcomers. So let's see what he can do.
He's currently still trying to get a lap on the board.
No, but
it's not the easiest track to get a lap on, but shouldn't be impossible.
Yeah, but to be fair, we have quite a few drivers which are laps there. And we've got another one who you probably can talk about a bit. And I will butcher that name. I will butcher that name a lot. Sorry, buddy. I'm so sorry for butcher that name, but it's so hard to.
It's Andre Kratochvil.
We'll stick to Andre.
Yes. He's doing a lot of different car races in the race room. He's not sticking to one class. He likes old classes, but he's not the fastest guy, I would say. But he's committed. And that's good to see. You're committed to do a longer race just on short notice, or because I just asked him today, or basically asked a few people today if they want to join, and he said, yeah, sure.
Good to see him. Also, the graphics, just for info, the graphics might be wrong, because, I don't know, the 3TR2 class, the game struggles a bit in terms of showing or displaying the correct tires.
Shows me that Andre is on hard tires.
Yeah, it shows that only Andre is on hard tires for me. So we can't take that for granted.
It probably is true though. Maybe just not wanting to do a quali lap, starts from the back and just watches the carnage unfold in turn 1.
Yeah, it might be also. Just notice that for the race it will be quite important which tires the cars have fitted, but yeah, as said, we can't really always tell. So, yeah, that's this.
6 minutes of quali left. Currently, we have Ilya Drosakov, Sebastian Rey, Sven Maggenberg, and Marlon Maggenberg top 4 in the Corvettes. I am a bit surprised by the Maggenbergs not being that close to Ilya. They are quite a bit off, like almost a second off the pace. Considering the Maggenbergs are usually the guys to beat.
It's very, yeah.
To be fair, they only did 2 vanded laps so far, so maybe they can actually improve. But I don't see them getting closer.
It's also pretty interesting to see, we usually don't have that big of a gap between the drivers. Which also
might be the car.
It also becomes of the car, yeah, klar. But
it's not the easiest car to drive, and the variance between each lap is bigger than in the GT3s, for example. You just can nail lap after lap, almost the exact lap times.
Yeah, I mean, you can see that at the leaderboard, where you have like big gaps between the drivers already. But it's quite interesting to see those gaps on the grid, because even if you're off the pace, we don't really know a lot about how the drivers cope with consistency in those cars, because obviously a lot of them we've seen already in KCG or other races. Most of them are very consistent, but still those cars might be a bit trickier in the long run, especially with 5 fuel and then just having one flat spot.
I'm curious how they're gonna cope with the tire wear, because you can easily lock up in turn 1 and then just a flat spot, or you have a... yeah, I'm just getting some server messages here because we have a manual in lap. Sorry about that. But it's interesting if people actually go for the soft and then just special nash in the end to go to the finish, and they just drive with 2 sets of soft, because if you lock up once, you basically have a flat spot, and that's gonna be awkward for the rest of your stint. And if you get that flat spot early, then oof.
Yeah, the tires, they aren't as harsh on you as, for example, the DTM tires. I mean, the DTM tires, you lock up once and you can basically throw away the race. But
It's still noticeable.
They do really have a noticeable flat spot. It's not like in some classic cars, or I think the WTCR class also quite easy on flat spots. I mean, you can have them, but they aren't as harsh. Meanwhile, Flo and Aaron put into 5th.
Oh, good luck.
But you still, once you lock up, especially in such a long race, and you have quite a big lock up, you will lock up even more because of that flat spot, and you might just ruin your tires very fast. I don't think you will see tire blowouts. That is very hard to get in those cars.
You have to massively miss your braking marker and then just still try to make the corner.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a lot of smoke.
Yeah, and that
easily possible in turn 1 though, or turn 2 if it's officially called.
Yeah, but even that, you need to do that on quite a consistent basis to get the tire blowout. It's not like, I remember that was one of my favorite races, even though I completely lost out. GTOs and Group C's at Watkins Glen. I had 2 tire blowouts.
What are you doing?
It was like a 2-hour race. I drove the 300ZX because awesome car, and like 2 laps before my pit stop, I always the whole time I had quite a flat spot because while fighting I braked too hard once, and 2 laps before I wanted to pit I had a tire blowout, and my tires were done anyway. But yeah, 2 laps before I had the blowout, and then I think 2 or 3 laps before the finish I had another one. Because the tires were like at 20%. They were at 20% or something. And I just had a blow.
And another one.
Yeah.
And another one. Another one.
It was painful, but it was fun.
Oh! Mackenberg got in between Trovosikov and Ray, so they actually stepped up the game.
Yes, Mackenberg also improved right at that moment.
So see if Marvin can put it up there. That would be an insane fight.
But it will
reminder
be
that top three, you get money. I've heard.
Indeed, 500 VIP for all podium positions.
€500.
That's like what I earn in a month.
Oh, you poor soul. Yeah, so you get 500 RaceRoom euro if you're gonna finish on the podium, and that's also gonna be the same for the next one-off race we're gonna announce right after the race on stream, perhaps.
We can tease it at least.
I like to get teased.
But we announce it in like a week or 2 at latest, anyways. But yeah, we can talk about it. Why not? Or maybe even during the race. I mean, we have quite a lot of time to do that.
I feel like there's some garbage, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, so 11 drivers now have a time set, and there are some guys off the pace, but they may have some fighting to do with each other. So I can see people having at least one opponent.
I don't think it will be boring for any of those, but it will be interesting. Also, it's not the Audi Sport TT cover. I just thought that overlay looked good. I didn't know there was the logo.
Right, so Quali about to finish here. Maybe Marvin can finish his lap.
Yeah, it's very close. He started the lap with like 1:41 to go or something.
Yeah, must be an insane lap from the finish.
And he improved, I think, 1:41.1. Yeah, just by a couple of thousands, but
just
improved.
Not enough. So he's gonna start in 4th place.
But still.
Actually not last. I should have joined a server later. But I am the safety car today, so I'm gonna see that yellow Ferrari.
Indeed, let's take a look at that car.
I'm just gonna do a lap here, so I'm not gonna embarrass myself.
It's just right on board with you. you can take us on a
Oh yeah,
lap.
let's just take onto a lap here on the Imola circuit. It got a few changes on the track layout, so turn 1, officially turn 2, Tamburello chicane here. You want to take a lot of those sausage curbs on the inside, almost spin here. Usually that part is flat here. Now coming up to Villeneuve. That's where Roland Ratzenberger died in 1994, and the corner before where Ayrton Senna died the day after. Next corner. Harsh hairpin. You go into second gear, I would presume, the most cars. Depends on how you set up the gearbox. You can actually do that in that car. Next up, a very fast left-hander here coming up. Usually third gear. You take all the inside curve here you can, and then as much as the game allows on the outside. Coming up to Acqua Minerale. Fast entry on the first part, and then you go down 2 gears and not go too wide. What I did here. Tires are still cold. Next important point here, Variante Alta. You go all over the sausage curbs if you can manage it in the car. Not the greatest car here tonight for me in the safety car, but oh well. And then the last 2 corners of the track. Downhill. Second gear. Don't miss your braking marker. It's just an awful lap. Let's have another one. And that's back to the start finish line. So we're gonna reach like 270 kph on the main straight here. For the easiest overtaking spot, I think. All the curb on the inside. Tamburello chicane here. I'm actually on a full tank, I just noticed. Then Villeneuve. It's a very tricky corner. You go fast into the left hander and then slow down for the right hander. Now comes Tossa. Hairpin. Hold the curb on the side here. Oh, got a bit of oversteer on exit. Car feels so much different on the full tank. Acqua Minerale, fast right-hander into slow right-hander. Very tricky corner. And I cut it a chicane, or the corner. And next up again Alta. Yeah, very tricky chicane. One of the trickiest chicanes in anywhere, I would say.
Yep.
And now the fun part of the track IMO. Double left-handers here.
You have a weird definition of fun, but...
I think those corners are fun. Someone just went off into town behind me. And that's the lap of Imola. Not the greatest, but it's a lap.
Thanks for that track guide. I think some people might enjoy it. But, yeah, that we will see for basically 2 hours, so get used to it.
It's a fun track.
It's a very fun track. That's why we chose it, basically. But, yeah, maybe talking about the start, because we at KCG have quite a unique procedure for the start so far. I think I've not seen many leagues or communities doing that. So basically, we will have a manual in-lap and manual rolling start. So we have a race of 64 laps, if I'm not mistaken now.
Yeah, 64,
yes, 65 laps plus in-lap. So 65 laps, so the race is actually 66 laps long.
No, it's 65 laps.
Okay, then we have 64 laps plus.
Yeah.
So the first lap, people just basically wait at the start. Dennis is going to overtake.
And take less fuel because it's a pick to drive, and it was on hard tires. Well, okay,
yeah,
that explains quite a bit.
Indeed. So basically, people will drive in order, like you've seen in any motorsports, basically.
Yeah, I like to see it in DTM with the flying start. Maybe not as close as there, because that thing is a bit bullshit.
Yeah,
but,
and basically we have a point after Rivazza where people get into formation. Ilya Dvoskov, as he's the leading driver, will pull to the right, because pole position is on the right hand side on this track. And P2 on the left side, then P3 behind Ilya, P4, and so on. And then Ilya can set the start or the pace at the marked area in front of the start-finish line.
Basically after.
Yeah. Between the two right-hand turns.
Dictate the pace.
Yeah.
And if he goes, he goes. No.
Yeah. Basically,
not
he's
braking again. So
basically he stays in the pit limiter, and once he deactivates pit limiter, he goes. And yeah, then we will after the race, because we have post-stewarding, look at the start to rule out any head starters and stuff and those stuff. So let's see. Yeah, Dvoskov on pole. You can see that yellow P45 in the background. So Ilya now starting, and you can see them taking off one after one. And then it's just eating through. Everything done in order. And now Dennis, for now, sets the pace.
I'm leading!
P45 is in the lead of the race. I think I've never seen that in this class. Anyways. So yeah, Dennis is just gonna pull into the pits at the pit entry. I think you can't pull into the pits anywhere else. So, yeah, and that's how it works. Not a lot of magic involved.
Nope, I'm just trying to drive 100 here, so people can actually warm up their tires, because they're ice cold.
That actually is a good factor in those start, because you can heat up the tires, which usually you start on very cold tires, and here you kinda can influence it. Obviously, it's not too easy to warm up the tires and keep the car on track if they are cold sometimes. Depends on the car.
You can just go throttle and press the brakes as well to
heat up the brakes.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's actually working in RaceRoom.
It does work pretty well actually. Over at GT when they do something very similar, obviously adapted to the Nordschleife and stuff. But there, if you just hold a bit of brake during the dirting, you have brakes that are not even red anymore. Something like black, and that also heats up the tires.
Yeah, it actually heats up a bit.
So
right, we have a slow car still in the back, not catching up now.
no, good on the time.
Looks all good. Looks all good.
Yeah. It's also kind of a looker to have that in live, I think. I think.
Oh, Ilya going iRacing here. People on the ground doing the iRacing. That's
OP strats right there. I think the man who described those starts pretty well is Matthias Ekström. It looks pretty cool, and it's also a lot of fun.
Alright, I'm gonna pull away here now. And Ilya.
So Ilya now sets the pace, and after this corner they will go into grid formation. Ilya might actually be on the wrong side here, but
he decides to side.
Oh, good. Oh, they're forming a bit. I think they're not knowing where to go on the back, but we'll sort that out anyway. Should be all fine.
Lights out?
Not for, and Ilya pulled away, and it's lights out, and away we go. And already getting pretty close between the Corvettes behind. And some
people missed the race, Andre, with late start here.
No late start. But now, through the first times, we see a couple of side-by-sides. Sven Markenberg has to go to the gravel. Now side-by-side with his brother, who has to get on the brakes, actually. Losing a bit of speed.
Oh. Side by side here into the second chicane. Ooh, is that Miklos Gall on P4?
Indeed he is. So BMW driver. John Evans in the back, going through the gravel there. Flowing out on the inside of Sven Mackenberg. Maybe having the better exit and actually being in front of it. We have one of the BMWs going off the track in the background.
Very poor start by Sven Mackenberg here. I think he was second, right?
Yeah, he was. I think he kind of got squeezed out on the inside of turn 2.
Yeah. And we have, according to my sheet, 2 starters on the hard compound. So that's going to be interesting to see. A BMW and a Corvette.
Bertani
in the back of the
and
field.
Andre.
Yes, if it's correct. So you have to be careful with the slowdowns here. You can collect a few of those speed tokens, but after a while they are pretty harsh. So
yeah, they add up. You get this multiplayer kind of thing.
Yeah,
where it goes like
you have to
1.2,
surf like
1.4.
8 seconds or so. You get like four times.
But you already see a lot of slowdowns. And Miklos Gall very close to P3, Marvin Mackenberg, meanwhile the top 2 being able to pull ahead a bit. And now Miklos
just
Gall
pulls away. Maybe he's on a different strategy, but maybe he also got an easy start because the others behind are actually battling for position. Very ginger through those corners in a fuel tank. It is so different to drive on a full tank.
We've also got Henrik Andreasen trying to get his way past Radoslav Piatkowski, now side by side into Villeneuve. And actually gets in front. Radoslav decides to not fight that position too much.
Andre caught up to Mattia Boni here in the back. Maybe a move is gonna happen here soon.
Mike Bartman.
Bartani just took Bartman.
Now Bartman takes it back.
The old switcheroo. Not any switcheroo, the old one.
Slav Piatkowski now just hanging on to the back of Henrik Andreasen. Oh, Mattia Boni just lagging a bit there.
Yeah, keep an eye on that.
Florian Arndt also keeping it very close to Miklos Gall as well. Mackenberg just able to build a slight gap.
I am very surprised by Miklos Gall there in the BMW keeping up with all the Corvettes, but he's doing a well job. Currently having purple lap as well. Can't buy anything for that, but it's nice to brag. So he gets the early purple of the race in the BMW. A bit down on top speeds. The Corvette's doing 66, 266. Henrik Andreasen at 272, probably in slipstream.
Now Florian Arndt in slipstream.
Yeah, maybe he can. You can see he is actually gaining on Miklos Gall here. Can he make a move?
Not bad.
Super late on the brakes.
Slight touch.
Even later. Oh, and Andre just spun in the last corner, unfortunately. Oh! Miss Gall there, white on the exit of Villeneuve. Not Villeneuve.
But now through Villeneuve, Florian Arndt is through.
Yes. I'll get those corner names right here. Let's see if Gall can take back the position somewhere. It's not the easiest track to overtake, but if you get the slipstream advantage on the straight, then you can maybe pull a move.
Also, at the top of the screen there stands 1 hour and 2 minutes. It's 62 laps. It's just a flaw in how this is displayed, so don't worry, in 2 laps it will be normal lap countdown.
It's a long race,
Seems like things have calmed down a bit. Ilya in the lead with 4 seconds to Sebastian Reyes. So Sebastian probably being on a different strategy, I presume. I don't think he isn't that far off the pace, or he wasn't that far off the pace in quali and practice. Pretty close.
But he's usually. So my pace says so pace is last 3 laps. He is 1.3 seconds off Ilya. That's just.
Maybe Ilya also started on low fuel and just defeats it. And George Evans spun out.
Evans, the Cadillac driver is that, right?
Yep. Yeah. Or only Cadillac. Great to see Cadillac on the grid. Hopefully we can see him back in the fight later in the race. Hopefully we can recover from that.
It is.
But at the front...
It's as said, it's not the easiest car to drive, and with a full tank, it's even worse. So,
Marvin Muckenberg seems to have made a mistake or got overtaken on track by Florian Arndt, because Florian Arndt is up into P3. Marvin Muckenberg actually is quite a bit behind.
Yeah, Marvin Muckenberg lost out here a bit. He had a shocking first sector, lost 1.5 seconds there. Let's see what his second sector says. Oh, Florian Arndt very wide there.
Also, quite a lot of slowdowns so far for him already.
I'm still
But it's
in the
still
game.
very easy to get on this track. It's about squeezing every inch out of the track, and then you just get the slowdowns. Especially where the curb like just goes into the track and you think you're safe.
I think Marvin did a mistake in the first sector. Lost a second, about a second there. So probably ran right or just dipped into the grass. But from 3rd to 7th we're still close together, and it's going to be interesting to see who comes out on top.
So Sebastian is just a tiny bit faster than Florian Arndt, but still Ilya just driving away at the front.
1.2 seconds faster.
Yeah.
On pace right now. Almost a second last lap. But let's see what his strategy is. Oh, someone off! Is that Sebastian Ray off?
Indeed
yes.
it is.
Oh...
Good
Not
rejoin,
even 5 laps
but
in, but already stuff happening here.
maybe he just went...
Oh,
and he got turned, but... Oh, and he's lying on the side. What the...
Oh, that might be race over. I think that was Piatkovsky.
No, it was the Corvette of Henrik Andreasen we touched with.
Yeah, and that's race over for Sebastian Reh, unfortunately.
Such a good pace he had and such a good start.
Makes one mistake and then gets taken out.
Seems like just... I don't know what really happened there. Just looked like...
Maybe it was just too slow and was it Henrik Andreasen?
It was definitely Henrik Andreasen behind him, but...
Yeah. Yeah, and then just didn't expect him to be that slow. Obviously not malicious, but might incur a penalty.
Obviously we look at this stuff, but it's so early in the race, and then...
Yeah, that's a really shame. You probably practice a lot and then...
Oh, and Florian Arndt in the gravel at Ratzer, so I'm not now. Oh, big slide there as well, with gravel on the tires. So now Marvin Muckenberg back into P2. A lot of action going on.
Just such an unfortunate spin though. He got a slight touch on the exit and the car was already a bit unsettled due to the rate transfer on the curbs and so on. And then just a tiny nudge on the left corner, I think it was, and that sent the car into a spin and then into a wall, and then it was just upside down.
Yeah, it seems like he just slid across the track and Henrik Andreasen was on the outside and just with very slight overlap, and then the car just turned. If you hit that barrier with the front part of the car, it's basically race over because you have terminal engine damage.
Yeah. Sven Muckenberg struggling here a bit. Henrik Andreasen may be able to get close. No, I guess Henrik Andreasen is having a difficult time now to get back into the racing mindset, because he just basically took someone out in the race. That's just not a great feeling here. And
Sven going a bit right, and also right. Marvin lost time. Florian Arndt right behind him.
Yeah. Henrik Andreasen now side by side into Alta. Can he make the move stick? Very nicely done here.
Oh, but no.
A bit of oversteer on exit, but that's the move done.
And also Ilya seems to drop off pace, or has made a mistake, because now the gap to Marvin is less than 7 seconds. I think some time between was 8 seconds. It's also invalid, the lap.
Ilya now pulling away massively, 41.1 last lap.
Now it's in the slipstream Florian Arndt.
Did Ilya lost a bit out?
Yeah, it seems like it. Not quite enough there for flying. But I think in the Corvette, especially if you go through the first chicane and just a bit too much to the left, it looks like you can take the left-hander flat, but actually you can't. Maybe that is why we went wide, you know? But it's so unfortunate. And John Evans and Christian Bertani, the two inspired Yorkshire racing guys, in the fight, bit of a collision, but all fine. Side by side through the left-hander, leaving a lot of space to each other. So that little kiss with the sausage cup didn't do any damage to John Evans' Cadillac.
So Evans spun and then he already caught up to Bertani, so he must... I think Bertani also made a mistake somewhere, because he lost 5 seconds last lap. But that group, P2, P7 are still together.
Oh no, Bertani a bit wide. Can John Evans actually pull alongside in this part? It's mental to try, but you can if you know who you are racing. I've also seen some fights in the DTM a few weeks ago.
And Ondrej Kratochvil with Mattia Boni trying to not finish last from the finishers. I guess they're gonna have a battle here soon. I think Ondrej is a bit quicker than Boni.
Seems like it. But Boni so far seems to have quite a clean one, from what it seems like.
Yeah.
Nobody asked anyone here to be on pace with the guys on top, because we all know that those are on another level. But for a newcomer with, it seems like not a lot of racing experience, he's very decent, I think.
Yeah, and it's impressive that you just join a 2-hour race with so little experience.
He didn't even own the content before, so he also drove this car with a bit of training the first time, basically. And Evans and Bertani again.
Still side by side into turn 1 here. Oh, yeah.
And Evans is passed in slipstream already.
Lots of curb down the inside. Oh, Evans made a mistake and Bertani is through again. Lots of space given here on the inside.
Those two really having a lot of fun, seems like.
Those having their own battle here. That's the one-on-one on Rust.
Oh, that was very close. Bertani just losing it on the inside. And Henrik Andreasen now on the attack on Niklas Gall.
Sven Mackenberg losing a bit out here. Maybe he's going for the one-stopper and just is on map 3 or something like that to save a bit of fuel.
Might be. Just using the slipstream.
He did start on the front row, did he, right? That was
yeah,
the
yes, second person. Second place.
So now it's Brotos in second place, and Ilya is probably not saving fuel because Ilya is Ilya and he just full throttle 100% all the time.
But I'm very surprised by Niklas Gall and Florian Arndt, those two. So far really performed well.
Arndt now going for a move for P2 into Tamburello, and he got the move done even before the braking zone. Bit of moving on the braking here, but all still good. He was quite ahead.
Blocking off the apex.
Good move done, good move done.
And Niklas Gall still holding on to that 4th position in the BMW.
Yeah,
should
also
really mention
impressive.
that.
It's probably the second best car still. Unfortunately, nobody dared to choose the roof, the Porsche, or the P45 Ferrari.
Yeah, unfortunately, Christian doesn't like us.
No,
just kidding.
He's just not at home today.
Yeah. Christian, if you should see this afterwards or something, it would be great to see you back. It was always fun to see you race.
Mr. Gall, a bit off track here.
Easy position swap for Andre.
That's now really close to him. Sniffing on that P4.
Yeah, very soon. I didn't expect to see that much action in the opening phase.
Considering how close they actually are, and maybe some people on a different strategy, I could see. I think the poor soul is Mike Bartman here, being totally alone in no man's land.
Yeah, he's too fast for the cars behind and too slow for the. But actually, over the long run, maybe he will have someone to find.
Maybe he's also on a fuel saving strategy and only doing one stop.
Henrik Andreasen now.
I think it's close enough to make a move here. Beamer not known for the top speed, but actually 271 for the Beamer.
I think the braking is better on the BMW, so still shines to hang on.
Same braking, and Henrik and Jossen makes the move. Good racing here. Oh, bit of curb on the exit. But move done. Henrik now in P4. And Hagen just pulling away from Marvin. And Ilya almost about to lap people.
And Andre spun
in the chicane there. And that gives Boney the position back.
No, not quite. Because what I think, at least it looked to me like it, he did slow down for the yellow flags, which is what we really encouraged. I just want to mention it because, especially for a rookie, you usually don't expect this stuff. So, great stuff. Yellow flags are a sign of danger, so you should respect it always.
Yes.
But look at this group of three. Miklos Gall does hang on to Henrik Andreasen, and Sven Mackenberg now also closes in, has a bit more slipstream than before.
I think there is some strategy at play in this race, where you save some fuel. If you're behind someone and you're like, okay, the pace, what they are doing is not bad, maybe I should just save some fuel and stick with them. Could come in handy later in the race.
No.
So maybe Sven, I think Sven has a lot of racing intelligence, so both of the Mackenbergs have. So I think maybe he's actually doing that.
I don't think the order we see right now is the one we will see at the end, not only because of on-track action, but just because of strategy. You see a lot of endurance races, it just changes
up. A terrible first corner chicane here. Lost out a bit. I am very impressed by Florian Arendt, currently in P2, and he's pulling away from Marvin Mackenberg. Who would have thought that after that mini-season where he was usually in the back of the grid?
Yeah, but that was also, I think, pretty close to the start of his racing career in RaceRoom. I think he started out like in October of 2021.
Yeah, then
like
really
really
very
started
impressive.
out. So
less than a year of racing experience, sim racing experience, and you're already up there with the big names, the Schumachers of RaceRoom, basically.
So maybe we should read through chat a bit now that things at least calmed down a bit. Cheers, mate. Oh, let's go. Now Boney a bit off track. And
some people here. Not sure the track limit's about the exit of the last chicane, but people go very wide there.
Yeah, it's you don't really have to worry about track limits, but not about the gravel traps. But now Ilya Dvorskov actually closing in on the left
Someone
cast.
dipped into the gravel.
Yeah, Boney, I think it was. Oh no, there you mean those. Yeah, those two are now splitting a bit. But I mean that was expected to happen.
Sven Mackenberg actually losing out a bit on the cars ahead, so he's currently half a second slower than his brother in Arvent, which means, I'm just assuming here because we don't know, that he saved some fuel.
Yeah, because what's funny, in practice session, the Mackenbergs on their first lap they did the exact same lap time down to the thousands. It was plus 0.000, and I'm not making this up. You can look it up in the KCG Discord server, which you can join in the link below.
I like that.
That was actually not planned, but it was just really. But yeah, now I think we've got time to read through chat a bit, and I see a lot of Jord Evans and Christian Bertani fans. I mean, you know,
and they're having a ding dong.
Yeah.
Oh, they had a ding dong earlier. Now Evans just pulled away a bit of Bertani. And Ilya's now about to lap the first guys.
Oh,
Boney spun in the Watsa.
Not Bertani, sorry, Boney. That was a close one. Just flew off the track and.
Did he try to leave Ilya space?
Oh no, that's just. I don't know. Might be. Just seems like he lost it on the braking and went into the grass, and once you lock up there, you just... Because it's downhill, you just can't slow down the car.
Yeah. If you miss your braking marker, then you just lock up and you just go into town there, basically.
So...
I got told Imola is actually one of the most beautiful towns in Italy. But I guess some racing fans are biased. But Italy has some nice towns. I admit that. Have you been to Italy before?
Yeah, in Rome, and I don't want to go back, to be honest.
Where have you been?
In Rome.
Rome. Okay.
Yeah, it's like you have a two-lane...
Hang on. We have a beamer here on. Is that Boney? I think it's Boney, yeah. And he locks up into Tossa as well. Just a bit of nerves here, letting the leading pack through.
It's not an easy situation when you have cars that are like 2 seconds, 3 seconds faster than you. To find a spot where you try to let them pass. To the driver's credit. Seems like Florian lost a bit of time with that. Not too bad. But obviously, especially if you see like 6 cars close behind. It's already very hard if the other cars are in the different class, but if they are same class. Oh, and Florian Amt goes very wide, nearly does the Charles Leclerc there. And Krystall also gone, and seems like somebody at the don't know.
Fell ahead here with the lapping car, not making it too easy for him. But it's still...
Oh, Florian Amt again a bit into the gravel. Now it's a chance for Marvin Mackenberg. Wide on his tail. And now actually sets up a slingshot.
Marvin here going for P2.
He just went off the throttle a bit to be able to do a slingshot on Florian, but it was just a bit too much or a bit too late.
Florian Alex super late on the brakes, but still made the corner.
But now I had to get off the throttle for the left hand, no?
Marvin here, yeah, but if you mess up the first part of the corner, you just mess up the other two as well. So
I think what's the strength of the Mackenbergs against someone like Florian Arment, because they have so much experience, they can keep the nerves together very good. So they don't usually make a mistake because of pressure. So let's see, but Florian Arment...
Oh, yeah, that's a bit wide there, mate. I was the rejoin here, I think. He has to let Marvin through.
Yeah, and he does.
And he does. So now he's under pressure from Henrik. I made a mistake again. So you make a mistake once, you make a mistake twice. Basically, that whole lap of him was really garbage. Started making mistakes in the first chicane and then keep doing those.
Now it's just a matter of getting back into the rhythm. Find your pace, find your rhythm.
But he did get some P2 lap time. Laps going, so
but that
I guess that's something.
But that also means that Henrik Andreasen now is close to
and he is off again. Florian Arend again off in the gravel, and he lost.
Two more
he went
positions.
from P2 to P6 in one lap. And
Mike Bartman did the actual Charles Leclerc.
And Boney also was very slow.
And actually, we still haven't read through chat a lot. Because every time there's something happening. But yeah, that's how fast it can go. But that also counts for the other drivers. If you do a mistake, you will lose positions.
Keep in mind that Henrik Andreasen may get a penalty, so his P3 is not safe.
Yeah.
But that's down to the stewards, which...
So I think we should rule that out for now, because we don't really know what happens. We also might also have more collisions we didn't see on stream or in our dashboard, because we will look through the log of the race and see, look at the collision incidents, off-track incidents at some times.
Yeah, and don't forget the pit stops are coming up soon, so people may speed in the pit and get a drive-through, or I'm not sure what the penalty is in this game anymore.
Drive-through, actually.
Drive-through, yeah.
Chiaboni being off at Villeneuve. Keeps going.
Apparently Bartman got punted by Boney, perhaps. But Sven Mackenberg now on the ass of Miklas Gall, trying to make a move. I'm sorry. And Ilya
Magdeburg.
just drove a new fastest lap, which was 2 thousandths faster than his last fastest lap. 41.112 right now.
Now look at that, Hendrik Andreasen. The outside is also a valid option.
That's not gonna work, I think.
Yeah, Magnus just, I think he really knows how to position the car in that. So...
And he goes a bit off track here doing the iRacing. Andre lets the lead us through here. Very well done. So let's see if Florian Aren can get back his grips and someone off track again. So
I think we still have this pack close enough together to get some action.
oh, for sure. So P2 and P3 together, P4 and P5 together. P7
Also,
is now
pit windows open now.
catching up soon.
You have to change at least 2 tires for the pit
Florian
zone.
Aren again. A big high sider, you would say, in MotoGP.
Oh, Sven Magdeburg nearly.
Oh,
and
he lost
Sven
it.
Magdeburg lost it while accelerating out of the turn.
Difficult position here. He has to kind
Reverse,
of wait.
yeah.
Maybe he could have just.
Ah,
to the
that's so unfortunate. He just needed to avoid Niklas Gall because he braked a tad too late, and then went on the off-track part of Aqua Minerale and uphill. And if you then try to accelerate and just slightly catch the 3 sausage curbs, you lose the car. You can't do anything about it. But I mean, you just talked about Radoslav Kwiatkowski now also into P6 because of that.
No,
So he profited.
Kwiatkowski is maybe on also a different strategy.
Yeah,
So
indeed.
it's going to be interesting to see who comes in first and maybe even the tire compound. Because in GT2 you actually have 2 compounds. If you didn't know, a soft compound, which apparently lasts about half a race, but I'm not sure how nice they are just after 10. And you have a hard compound, which probably lasts forever. And I'm still a bit sorry about Sebastian Reh's unfortunate incident there. It's just such an awful feeling to practice for a race and then you kind of have to DNF, not really your fault, but also just an unfortunate incident there. Boni off again here in the last corner. Batani there. So we probably didn't show Ilya too much because he's just pulling away.
Yeah, he's just doing his own stuff basically up front.
I'm having an eye on his lap times and they are really impressively consistent.
I mean, it's clean air, he can drive. And Henrik Andreasen also closing up slowly to Magdeburg at the same time.
Right, so just wanna show how impressive Ilya is. The last 3 laps of him were all within 0.03 seconds. His last 3 laps, yes, all 3 of them. So 41-1, 41-1, 41-1. Marvin Magdeburg did a 42.5 right now, so he's over a second off that of Ilya. But let's just see how the cookie crumbles and how the pit stop's gonna slot all those people back into the race.
Yep.
Marvin here,
and
slight
something.
mistake.
Oh, it's Andre.
Andre.
And Sven Magdeburg had to take avoiding action going through there. That's also very unfortunate. You just lose a lot of time because you have to ride a car, but nothing you
It's
can
also
do
part
there.
of racing when just someone spins in front of you and you have to avoid him.
At least you just can carry on. That's the most important.
Sometimes if you get taken out by someone like that, it's just so bad for you. Alright, so order right now. Ilya Drovaskov, Marvin Magdeburg, Henrik Andreasen. With a little bit of a...
Oh. Miklos Gall going very wide through Aqua Minerale. Lucky to not catch the sausage curbs there, but it was very close to losing the via, I guess. And Florian, I don't know, within a second. Lost the via on exit, but should still be fine. So let's wait what happens now in the coming laps.
So lap 20 coming up. You said 28 laps roundabout.
Yeah. Boni now in the way of Ilya Drozokov, probably. Bit off track. Tanya in the background also just driving the Beamer in a casual way.
Yeah, for those people that just aren't there yet, finishing that race would also be a huge achievement for them. How long do you think is this race going to be? Like just a bit shy of 2 hours?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of commitment, isn't it?
Yep.
Although I gotta say, mentally, RaceRoom is quite easy to drive for a longer time.
Yeah, we find the flow and then it goes. Just when it goes wrong, it goes really wrong usually.
Yeah. But what's a bit annoying, if you crash out and you damage your engine, then it's basically race over, which probably happened to Sebastian Reyes there, and that's just super annoying and frustrating and
yeah, it's sometimes you might just carry on and salvage what's possible.
Yeah, but not with a big engine.
But well, in his case it was race over because terminal engine damage. You can't drive without an engine, so it's
but that's also part of racing. Racing sometimes is really frustrating.
Yeah.
Just look at some Formula 1 races where you crash out on the first lap or even on the start, and saying that Andre just spun in Aqua Minerale. If you just crash out on the first start on the first lap of the race, race over, weekend over, bam. What now? And Florian Arendt is in the pit lane.
So first pitter, see what he does. Does he do the splash and dash? Does he change tires? Currently on the softs.
Yeah, that's lap 2019.
So refueling.
Quite early. So you're not gonna make it to the end. If you pit now and just top it up. But that may also explain his pace early in the race before he did all those mistakes. But maybe also his tires are a bit shot after those.
But maybe he's also just filling up and extending his stint. We don't know. He's changing both tires.
Yeah, that's a long pit stop.
It's current 16 seconds per set of tires, I think. And refueling.
I thought it's 8 seconds per row.
8 seconds, I'm sorry. 16 seconds for all four.
Yeah.
Now, going again, he will probably come out right in front of Jod or what behind Jod Evans.
Just a bit, yeah, just behind the Cadillac of Evans.
Yeah.
41.5.
Still on the softs though, so
yeah. I think
maybe he goes for triple softs. It's just 3 short stints.
Yeah, maybe he's doing the triples, yeah. That's a valid strategy. That would also explain his earlier pace in the race, because he actually pulled away of Marvin. So
20 laps.
Florian Arendt with a 20, 40, 65 strategy, something along the lines of that. Alright, so let's go back to Henrik Andreas, now about to...
Getting past
Boni.
I was tempted to say Bertani, that's good. Oh, and Boni.
Interesting lines by Boni here. And we got another...
Oh, that was a bit of a dodgy rejoin there, but just got managed to avoid him.
I'm not sure. Oh, interesting. So I'm running second monitor. That's a racing app, and after Florian Arendt did his pit stop, it now tells me if you do a pit stop, where you come out on the track compared to the others.
Jod Evans now into the pits, just ran wide before in Vivaza.
Yeah, also probably going for the triple stints on 3 set of softs. So the rules are you have to change 2 tires, obviously. at least. And there's a pit window, 25 to 75%. So you have to pit in that window at least once. I don't think it's even possible to miss that window somehow and still finish the race.
Yeah, you kind of have to pit in this window to make the race, even.
Yeah. So basically, a pit strategy is open.
We just got into the pits.
Quite early pit stop. I didn't expect those early pit stops. But I guess if you do for the triple stint, then that's when you go into the pit.
Probably
Hopefully nobody cursed.
Oh, Miklas Gall did the Christian Gotha.
Oh, he did. Oh, don't. Oh.
Not that much.
Lino. Don't. You have to ask which Christian cutter because he's doing so many of those now.
He is.
Yeah.
And hello Jasper, also hello Robert.
Jasper there. Doing a Christian cutter, what does that mean now, eh? He did so many stupid shit in the last year when I was doing some racing.
Had to reverse in the pit lane. I mean, not by the long shot Christian did at Most, but still enough. So Miklas Gall now moving, it's a long pit exit.
80 kph, here's the speed limiter. And Ilya pitting. Ilya, the leader in the pit, in his WeatherTech Chevrolet Corvette C6R GT2. Shootouts to WeatherTech.
And Florian actually managed to undercut Miklas Gall by a long shot.
Let's look at the... I can tell you after a while. Okay, so Jordan Evans with a 46.9 standing time, Gall with a 45.6 standing time, and Florian Arn with a 41.5 standing time. So Arn actually gained 5 seconds on the pit.
Well, to be fair, he also came earlier, so he might just have had less fuel to refuel.
And maybe also just did the uncut because the soft tires are probably dead by now.
Yeah, that as well.
So Marvin now leading, just behind him is Henrik Andreasen in P2, just 1 second behind in DRS zone, you would say. And some dodgy lines here already.
That would be interesting now with Ilya and Mike.
P3. I think Philip is also a guy that does weird strategies, just saving fuel, going for the one-stopper. Oh,
that pit exit now. Bartman comes out in front of Ilya. Now, obviously, Ilya will be much faster, but this might just cause a bit of time because...
Bartman doesn't have to yield, but he still does, so fair play to him.
Fair play. He's in the same... He's not in the same pit window, but he is on this. It's a fight for position. Same as shorter.
I just clicked a lot of things, and I think Jordan Evans was in the pit again. Just a drive-through. Did he get a drive-through?
Doesn't show up on my screen, at least not that I
drove through the pit.
Sven Mackenberg spun before Aqua Minerale.
Oh, such a rotten race for Sven as well.
Yeah.
It's third major mistake in the race so far. And it's not even halfway through the race.
But also still, if you just look at the difference, Ilya 27 seconds in front of Florian Arendt. It's now lapping Jord Evans. Yeah, right. So differences are...
Ilya's now right behind Sven on track.
Sven probably just pulls into the pits at this stage, I presume.
Who knows? Maybe he is actually also going for one stopper.
Staying out for now. Magma currently leading the race. Also, no changes in terms of tires. Bertani and Andre on the hard tires.
Yeah, doing the hard tire strategy. So if Marvin Mackenberg now pits, he probably comes out in that big group just ahead of Florian Arendt. At least that's what my app says here, which is quite impressive of Arendt if he actually caught up back to Marvin after his spin.
Obviously Marvin will have the better tires when he comes out of the pits, but then you also have to get past. And if you don't do that quickly, you don't have the advantage.
Beamer was a handful.
Ilya now 1 second behind Sven.
Maybe Sven is gonna do at least giving Marvin some favor here, but
Tiaboni into the pits, also doing the Christian Götter.
you have to be specific what the Christian Götter is, because in our 6-hour race he actually spun on the last lap of the race in the Schumacher S at the Nürburgring, and that's called a Christian Götter now.
Oh, yeah, the older Christian Götter, the one before. And Ilya Durosakov now in front of SanDisk. Good maneuver there, obviously with the tire advantage, but still good move.
Oh yeah.
As always, he's just drifting through the corners. No need to drive through them.
Probably on 0 TC. But yeah, purple lap. Purple 2 sectors here for Ilya. Probably lost a bit of time. But Sven is holding tight to him.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, he probably also wants.
Moly! How does Ilya not lose the car instantly?
I ask myself that every turn he makes. Like
he goes basically Tokyo drift through corners.
I mean, if you see him with facecam driving, especially when he streamed more back in the days, like it's always so interesting to see him drive, because he has such a unique style of driving, I feel like. Because most people would just like turn in for a corner, keep it stable and so. But where he is basically just drifting it. You can see him when he goes through the turn, the steering wheel is basically straight. And that is so staying to watch.
But he's fast with it, so I'm confused by his driving style.
Well, I don't think that you're the only one with that. But it obviously works. I mean, I also, Miklos Gal, for example, also has his unique driving style in some way, which he told me about when basically he started on RaceRoom and we raced a bit together. And he told me he does like maximum of 90 degrees steering, and he always has a very precise feel for the grip of the front tire, so he has a pretty low tire usage in the end, which you can also see when you see him race, that he just has so much tire life, basically. And he can get so much out of those tires.
Alright, so Marvin actually pulled away a bit from Henrik Andreasen. Now it's almost 4 seconds here. I think Marvin is actually going for the one-stopper. Let's see, he can go 28 laps, or almost 29 laps with a tank. And if he actually started saving fuel early in the race, then he may stretch it to like 32 laps, which would already be quite close to what he needs to do. And we are currently on lap 26, so he has to do 6 more laps, basically, for the one-stopper to make it work. Or maybe he's just going for stretching out the tires as long as possible, and then goes for splash and dash in the end and saves basically a bit of time by not changing tires again.
Yeah, it will be hard to tell after the race because of his few mistakes he had, unfortunately, which might also come from the strategy, we don't know. But it would be pretty interesting to see if the time you lose on track actually pays out in the end to have that advantage.
Yeah.
And might
by
be.
By not changing tires, you basically saved 18 seconds, which doesn't sound too much in a 2-hour race. And you probably lose that time on track with the finished tires. But yeah, if he... I think my app is a bit wrong, because it tells me he comes out just behind of Miklos Gal right now, if he pits. Which seems a bit far behind.
I think it's also dependent on what you do in the pits. Someone's off in the back there. Yeah, Bonnie. But also I'm interested to see what Radoslav does. Because he, Henrik Andreasen, and Marvin also have a pit. So those three might all be on a one-stopper, and we don't know. But they are
Top
in a
six,
pretty decent,
current
position.
top 6, only Ilya pitted, but I think he has the pace to do a 2-stopper anyway.
Yep.
So maybe those top 6 guys actually is gonna go for the 1-stopper or 2-stopper with only a splash and dash in the end. I think those 3 strategies are viable. Which is the fastest? Who knows? Stay tuned. Doing those comments, it's just a bit cringe. Those TV comments.
Stay put after a short split screen advertisement. We will be back in the action, and now buy the new Manscaped lawn.
Rich wallet. What else? Raid Shadow Legends.
I actually got, like, I mean, it's probably normal, but I got an email from Stream Elements. That was because I started to stream Twitch again with the Forza streams, and they said like, hey, we've got the product placement you could do. Play Raid Shadow Legends for 3 hours in a week and get, I don't know.
I had the same.
It's like, I mean, even if it wasn't automated, it wouldn't make sense. but from Stream Elements, what the fuck? Why from Stream Elements? Oh, and Bertani seems to have had either some internet issues or a collision. I mean, if you want to look at his car, it looks pretty damaged to me. The front right is a bit not in shape.
Nope, that's damage. And Boney off in the first chicane there. Hopefully, Marvin. Oh, that's an awkward position, but he keeps out of the way.
Yeah. Good job.
Now is he?
Oh, now Jord Evans against Andre Kratoshvili. Kratoshvili? Was that correct? I hope so.
Andre Kratoshvili.
Yeah.
Not sure what Boney is doing.
Just trying to keep out of the way in a specific way. Well, Jord Evans has to fight for that position because Andre doesn't have to let him pass, even though he didn't do his pit stop. Like, they had the rule back at no swing, though a few years back in DTM. Oh, and on braking. Jord was lucky to not get touched there.
I'm not entirely sure what Boney is doing right now. He's just being a very dodgy driver on the road.
It seems like... It just seems like suspension is dead. Probably on the surface curb. Oh, and now too. Is that Vencilia? Yes. If you look at his onboard, he can barely drive it straight. Probably on the sausage curbs in the first chicane while he's there.
Bit of crapping going on here.
It's such a long way back to the pits if you have that damage. And you can't drive that fast. It's like...
Looks like he's in the wall almost. Oh, that's so scary for other drivers as well.
Yeah. Because you don't know where this car is going. I mean, not even Bonnie knows where this car is going. I had, let's say, a face. Dick Pfeiffer will know. He called it the Lino groove. I kind of... Does it go? Yeah, it goes in bits. Nordschleife, when I raced a bit again. I don't know how I always flew off in hoher 8. Like in
You were
the
too fast.
in the left. No, because I just like the few brain cells I have shut off, and I ended up beaching on the slight curb on the right hand side in the left hander before. And that sent me straight into the barrier with the side of my car, which bent my suspension, and I had to crap the whole way from Hohe to the pits. And I couldn't drive 160 because then my car would just heat wherever it goes. And I did that like every second lap for a week. And at some point I just got it back into my head, but I don't know how I did this mistake all the time. It's also funny. Sven Markenberg to Mike Bartman to Florian Arends all had the exact same distance to each other, 11.58.
Hendrik Andreasen is super slow right now. I think he massively saves fuel. He lost another 3 seconds to Marvin last lap.
Yeah.
He's currently 2.5 seconds off the pace, and he's actually pitting with 34 laps to go.
As well?
I think that's too early for doing the one-stopper. Marvin stays out, and Fellet also in the pit. 40 Beamer may be a bit nicer on fuel. Very impressed by Marvin's fuel saving here. Oh.
Well, the difference to Joe West is that Joe West had like 100,000 races to his name. Oh, wasn't he one of those who had like a lot of races but couldn't drive?
And same with Bernie Ecclestone, who has like 5,000 races.
Yeah, but he's not as bad as.
No, but he's a character as well.
The best story we had was still with Gas.
Oh, yeah,
When I think back about it, it was quite of a fun time, even though I don't wish it back, but those discussions were kind of funny. Not gonna lie. So Henrik Andreasen
comes out of the pit here. Let's see what is.
They might get swallowed up by.
That was a very long pit stop by Henrik Andreasen, so he definitely topped up the car.
Jordan Evans in front. Oh, not quite. Side by side, Jordan Evans leaving a lot of space on the curbing. And Sven Martin somewhere there. Oh, it's Bertani. Just out of
Sven. Sven must also be an interesting race with all the people spinning in front of him.
Yeah. But no, it was actually a lap down. It was just displayed in my wrongly displayed in my dashboard for some reason.
Alright, so my app basically says Marvin's gonna lose a whole lap if he pits. Hendrik Andreasen 80 seconds in the pit, so
probably Marvin will just be 85 then, I guess.
Yeah, that's not quite a whole lap, so that app is a bit wrong.
Florian Arends. Oh, Mike Bartman should be in the pits. Yep, Mike Bartman in the pits now. Also might be in for the one stopper.
Yeah, definitely. Now it's, if you pit now, then you can, I would say, easily make it. So I predict that Marvin's gonna pit now, and then he only has 32 laps to go, which is exactly how much laps he did already.
So the Marken works both on the same strategy, it seems like.
Yeah, I guess they went for it. Although Sven is a bit further behind.
Yeah, he was quite lucky when he fell off the train. He kind of lost out to his opportunities.
Here in the pit. Very conservative pit entry.
Safe then, sorry.
Yes. Did he actually run out of fuel here? Because he was super slow in the pit entry as well.
Batman now going again.
Engine off.
Ilya Doroskov now taking back the lead of the race.
But he obviously has to pit again, which Marvin probably don't, so... I guess Sven also pitting now.
Yep, indeed. So there's Florian Arman now approaching Vatsa.
Yeah. Reminder that Arendt and Ilya are probably on the definitely on the two-stopper.
But Marvin now only changing his tires and Florian now at the exit of Rivazza. So he might at least be in front for now and isn't in a fight.
I think both, at least Marvin's gonna come out of in clean air here. Maybe just behind Miklos Gal, who also is on a two-stopper. Marvin now going again. Oh, he's gonna be super close to Gal on the pit exit.
Gal has...
Gal has him, but that might be a bit annoying for Marvin.
Depends on if Gal with the faster strategy on track, with the faster car now, can keep the distance, or if his tires are already used up.
12 laps.
But Ilya, I mean, Henrik, we can say Ilya is safe currently.
Didn't Henrik pit already?
Yes, he did. Did he get a drive?
Andre Kotrotschwil now in the pit. Also very slow, didn't find his...
Yeah, drive through penalty, speeding in the pit lane for Henrik Andreasen.
Oh, that's also not good, because he was in P3 before the pit stop started. So currently Ola is...
But now behind Sven Markenberg because of that.
So current order is Ilya Drovosokov. 42 seconds behind him, Florian Arendt. And another 12 behind him, Miklos Gal. Those three are definitely on the two-stopper. Then Marvin Mackenberg, Fellhead and Sven Mackenberg definitely on the one-stopper.
That's Hani and Andre in the pits as well now. I think it's their first pit stop as well, isn't it? Yep, it is.
I think Marvin, if nothing happens, obviously, Marvin is safe for P2, I would say.
Ilya is actually close to lapping Hendrik. See. But this is now pure strategy game.
Yes.
So Ilya is quite safe with his strategy. He's basically clear. And Henrik Andreasen spun out in Rivazza. Yeah. Doesn't help him, obviously. But, I mean, he's not the first one who does mistakes. He will not be the last one in this race, I guess. I think it would have been very interesting to see what Ray would have gone for what kind of strategy. I think he would be one person who could do the one stop with the pace he went for, but difficult.
Yeah, it's just race over for him early, so we never know. But he was on pace to be at least in the top 3.
Well, actually, if I look at my timing screens, Florian Arendt might be in. Florian Arendt and Miklos Gal are fighting for P3 and P4 under the current strategy, but also Radoslav Piatkowski still has a shot at P3 if he can hold up the pace.
Yes, that's what I meant. I think Marvin is safe for P2 for now, if nothing happens, obviously. But P3 is going to be interesting, and reminder that top 3 gets 500 RaceRoom euro. So actually finishing P3 means a huge deal.
Radoslav Piatkowski in the pits again. I don't know why. He's refueling. Oh, he's refueling.
Did he forget to refuel?
Oh, he had some sort of his lights didn't turn out, so he has to have the engine running, which means not refueling. But what could you do with the car standing on the ground? What kind of
Well,
repairs?
I mean,
Aerodynamic repairs and...
Marvin's actually catching to Miklas Gal. Half a second a lap.
Oh, and makes it very far. Oh, just keeps it out of the barriers. Ever so slightly.
It looks like that.
Still 4 or 5 laps to
Still
go
in
for
the
them.
pit. No, he's going, right?
Asus going again, now behind Mike Bartman in P8.
Did he just... That pit stop was super short, but did he just drive through?
No, he stood at his pit box. I think he did some sort of repair because he didn't refuel because his lights didn't turn on, or he did refuel and just...
Maybe he just did the splash and dash early.
Yeah,
Maybe
but
he's
usually
not able to
when you
straight.
refuel, you have to turn off the car and its lights were still on. That's what
Oh,
confuses me.
I got no idea how that looks like.
Usually, when you refuel, you have to shut on the car, and that means your lights are off. But the lights were on. At least when I got him, and he still stood for quite some time. It might be aero or chassis damage you can repair while standing on the ground. But he didn't do tires because he stood on the ground. At least if I didn't miss something. I mean, I can check in the stream.
We are checking.
That's interesting.
That means that Miklas Gal. Oh, maybe Florian Aren has a shot for P3 now. Yeah, again with a purple sector 1. Now he's catching up to Sven Mackenberg, about to lap him.
Actually, I just didn't look. He did refuel. His car was shut down.
Maybe he just splash and dashed a bit
Yeah.
to make it to the finish, and thought he could not save that amount during the second stint. It's about 45 minutes to go, 28 laps. Gonna be curious to see Marvin and Sven Mackenberg, where they come out in the end with the fuel saving strategy.
I think everyone's position will be quite interesting. Radoslav Kwiatkowski meanwhile closing in on Mike Bartman. But I think nothing is said and done so far because we're still in the top 6, let's say top 8. We have 2 or 3 different strategies with the obvious 1-stop and 2-stop. But also Radoslav's splash and dash, which probably wasn't much planned, but also is there. And also the 2-stoppers stopped at different times. So this will be interesting.
Florian Aren with the ultra early stop. And Ilya and Miklas Gal with the
bit later.
stop 2 laps later. 2 laps later, just checking here. So I predict Florian Aren coming in the pit in the next 2-3 laps or so for his last pit stop, and then he goes to the end. Which means where he comes out after that one is where he probably is gonna finish, unless he can make some move stick, and unless he overtakes some people that are on the 1-stopper.
And unless everyone keeps it on track in the last stint as well.
Yeah.
Mike Bartman should also be on a 1-stopper. So should also move up.
Yes, Mike Bartman also on the 1-stopper. I was about to say he's pretty close to Henrik Aniasen, but
4 seconds, it's still in reach.
Yes. So that's quite impressive pace by Mike Bartman there in the Corvette. And just behind him is Fellhead, right?
Yep.
That's a good battle there.
That will be interesting, because now he has to ask himself the question, Mark getting close to Miklas Gal. And we've got some...
Oh, Ilya almost there!
George Evans
spun there between the Rivazzas, and Ilya had to do some major avoidance. And he got majorly lucky. Although the game tells me he has some bonnet damage, but it might be...
Looks fine on my end.
Okay, so I know the game is not really consistent with...
Yeah, it's a bit
damage
with a ping. But now it's the important question also for Miklos Gal, but for him not so much, but for Mike Bartman. Does he want to take the fight with Władysław Piatkowski and possibly lose more time to Henrik Andreasen, even though he gained another second?
Felheld, Piatkowski is also on a one-stopper basically with a precision dash. So he has to save less fuel, but he still has to save fuel.
Yeah, indeed. But still, do you want... I mean, Felheld currently... You can basically see that he has more pace. Maybe he needs to save less fuel, or maybe just find some more pace currently in the state of the race. But he has to ask himself, do I want to defend and probably, or maybe fall out of the window to Henrik Andreasen, who, again, might have a penalty, we don't know, but might have.
Reminder that for longer races, the penalties are a bit bigger.
Yeah.
So
Marvin Markenberg also
it's
now...
probably not going to be, if it's a penalty, it's not going to be a 5-second penalty, that's for sure. But
Marvin
we know...
Markenberg moving up into third position, sorry. That's important move.
Did he overtook Gal?
Yeah, Miklos Gal didn't really put up a fight there, but he also just doesn't have much to fight with currently.
I'm surprised because Gal is about to pit, so I guess his tires are totally done.
But where will Gal come out? Maybe even behind Sven Mattenberg, but probably be in front, or maybe even behind Henrik Andreasen, because he's 50 seconds behind Miklos Gal, and that would put him into a fight with Bartman and Piatkowski.
Yes. So, everything between, I would say, 3rd and 8th is not set in stone yet.
Yeah.
And I think all of those drivers in 3rd and 8th have a chance for a podium. Which just is pretty mental, in my opinion. Bertani and Andrei Kratochvil back on the hard tire.
Boni, hard into the wall this time.
Tosser there. Coming back on the road, I see on the minimap. Sven Mackenberg there avoiding.
Yeah, he just on the outside of the turn.
BMW M3.
Piatkowski not as aggressive currently as some other times in Season 3. And also both catching up very fast to Henrik Andreasen, only 1.7 seconds. So his tires might have just let him down currently.
Okay, looking at the pace timer here. Currently, Miklos Gal is about a second slower than Marvin, which just means how bad his used tires are. And they are only 11 laps older than Marvin's, the soft tire compound.
You can see how much more aggressive Feldhardt is in Rheintalter compared to Mike Bartman.
Probably gonna have a chance here, a sniff into Rivazza maybe. Didn't there, and there's
Boni off. It's
so
kind of
the
the
rejoin.
theme. Oh,
interesting rejoin.
Very dodgy rejoin.
And he goes off again. Hopefully, Mike Bartman didn't get damage there.
Seems like no harm done, but obviously we will look into that as well.
Yeah, that was definitely not a great rejoin.
Still slot on penalties popping up. They should be pretty high at this point, with probably sometimes even 2 seconds marks. Boni in the pits for repairs again. Miklos Gal, he can't quite go the pace of Marvin, but he is still hanging on, probably because of this pit. No, a lot of curb there. Hopefully that didn't...
Last lap 6/10 slower. But Sven is now pulling some laps here out of his ass. He's basically doing Florian Arendt's lap times, which are also quite impressive considering he is on 22 lap old tires. And I predict he's going to come in this or next lap for his second stop.
23 lap stints, probably because he likes the number 23.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, his racing number is actually 23. Which is just a bit weird because, like, not because the number is weird, but there are so many cars where you have every number except the 23. For my number, for example, 48, it's like So often there is a 48, but the delivery is just awful. Why? Now coming up to Andre. Giving him space.
Battle here with Mike Bartman, which is a very interesting battle to say the least. Mike Bartman with 3 laps older tires than... oh, hang on. Fellet actually has all the tires because he didn't change his tires, obviously, for his special Nash. So about the same tire life. So I guess Bartman and Radoslav are now on the same strategy. Both don't have to save that much fuel. Maybe Fellet is actually on an advantage here because he topped up a bit on fuel to make it to the finish without saving a lot of fuel. And Bartman with a bit of mistake here, covering the inside.
Sata 7000. Now can Felder do the switchback or will Bartman prevent it? No, Felder just can't stick it to the inside.
Just can't get the car rotate. There's no grip on the outside of Tossa.
Yeah, the problem for Felder at this point is obviously as well, if you're on the dirty air, you have more understeer, which means you take on more tire life at the front. And once you have at least a certain amount of difference from rear to front tires, you will understeer through every corner, and that will just accelerate the effect of your front tires losing grip. And this is...
Ilya in the pit. Boxing here. So that's his last pit stop, obviously. Which means... I was about to say that Florian's going in the lead, but I think Ilya may still come out ahead of him.
No, not
maybe
quite.
Florian may actually pit himself, so...
If Florian pits himself, obviously, Ilya will remain in the lead, but if not, Florian might take the lead here. Because he was like 43 seconds behind. I think the stop for Ilya is 54. At least if it's the same as before.
I'm checking 71 seconds pit stop last time around, with pit entry and exit.
Radoslav just he can't get enough pace on the straight, and Florian now staying out for another lap.
Yeah, Ilya is now leaving the pit box. Florian goes into the lead here, but we all know, unfortunately for him and his fans in chat, that he has to pit again.
Yeah, but do you know what the greatest thing is? I think it's the first lead change we have, isn't it? Nah, not the first one.
No, Marvin was actually leading.
Marvin was leading after Ilya pits off.
But Marvin is actually not that far behind Ilya now.
Yeah, 6 seconds.
7 seconds, considering how big Ilya's lead was.
Mikhail's got in the pits. Yeah.
That was expected. Now he's topping up on fuel. Maybe not topping up, but 80 liters or so, 75 liters.
What confuses me is that Henrik Andreasen is just losing so much pace. Like Bartman now 6/10 behind him, and Dick in the chat is right. Bartman actually does a pretty good job holding on against Felder there, and at the same time closing in on Henrik.
Yes, but I think Felder actually not attacking to catch up to Henrik Andreasen.
Yeah,
otherwise both would lose time and Henrik would just pull away. So Felder being very smart with racing intelligence here. It is kind of an endurance race, and you have to think multiple laps ahead and not just the next corner, as if it's a sprint race. And Miklos Gal might actually join this group here. At least he's joined some back markers.
Short Evans. And it's Boney, I think. Yep.
So Florian Aren now in the lead, probably gonna pit this lap, box this lap, box. No, he does not box this lap.
Stays out for now. Maybe the tires just feel very good at the moment, then you obviously want to stay out.
But if you guys get your hopes up that he's gonna finish the race, that's just not possible.
Finish?
Just not pitting again. Okay, that was...
But this
I see what you mean. Yes, I mean finishing without pitting.
This is now going to be very interesting. Our George Evans on the grass. Don't know if there was contact or not.
Right, there's a bit of a group forming here. Boney there. Oof. Henrik getting a bit blocked here by Boney.
Bartman a bit wide. Felder now. That's gonna be messy.
Bartman! Oh, Bartman just got blocked by Boney.
I mean, he didn't really couldn't really tell where to go because Feldhardt showed on the right side, Bartmann was on the left side, and you have to go somewhere. So basically, either you look to the confront, but it's super hard to judge, and it was just so. But Feldhardt being very nice. It's
not
great.
Sure if I would have done that, but
I don't think
fair
so.
play there. Not using the back marker as the opportunity to overtake someone.
Maybe he also. I mean, I don't think so, but maybe he just wants to use the substream to save even more fuel to just eat it on map 5 at the end.
That could also be a possible, but he did top up on fuel, so I'm not sure if that would be...
It's unlikely, but it is possible. But yeah, obviously great sportsmanship there. But to be fair now to Boney, it is a situation...
he didn't do anything wrong there, it's just...
He did pull up to one side, and Barton just chose the wrong side, and Felder chose the right side. It's
in the pit here.
On the pits, that's gonna be interesting.
Oh, Felder with a very dodgy line. Henrik Andreasen dipping there in the gravel, losing out. Now, this battle for currently P6 is absolutely ridiculously good.
I mean, who would have thought in a grid of 13 drivers, basically 12 after 5 laps, that we have so much action across the race?
Yeah.
Especially
P6,
in the
7 and 8 are still within a second here.
Sven Maggenberg not through Rivatsa, Florian out still standing. That means Sven Maggenberg is gonna take P3 for now.
Looks like the Maggenbergs are gonna be on the podium together. Unless Florian Arendt gonna pick up pace.
Well, Florian
Arendt actually has a chance for P3 because Sven has to save fuel and is therefore slower.
And he has fresher tires. And that is, I think, a big...
Yeah, Florian has fresher tires, so the gap is 8 seconds. 10 seconds, something in between that. Let's take again the lap times, what the difference is. So Sven Maggenberg doing, if he doesn't do mistakes, mid 42s.
Oh,
and
Feldhardt a second. On Bartmann on the inside, Bartmann to the outside, braking late.
I think that move is done.
Yep. Good move there by Feldhardt. Now.
Absolutely good move here, and I'm checking lap times. Florian Arendt is capable of high 41s, low 42s throughout his whole stint, so he is about half a second quicker than Sven Maggenberg on average.
And that is with our tires, I think. So.
Yeah, which means he may get a chance like with 3 laps to go. So P3 is still somewhat open.
It's only 9 seconds. We also only have 10 seconds from Ilya to Marvin. Probably Ilya will be faster. But still, only 10 seconds between them currently. I think Marvin was around 30 seconds away at the mid-phase of the race before Ilya pitted. Just because of the big fight he had with the other drivers.
Ilya's basically doing low 41s, mid 41s throughout his whole stint. And last he actually did some 40s. His fast lap is a 40.2. What? That's quicker than in quali. How is he so much faster now than earlier in the race? This guy is insane.
I think after this race, Sven Maggenberg doesn't want to see a beamer from behind anymore.
Alright, 18 laps to go, about 30 minutes. 18 and 80.
And Feldhardt getting closer to Henrik Andreasen as well, so I might see 2 battles. But only 7.5 seconds away from Sven Maggenberg now.
I'm not sure what you are watching right now, but I'm still on Feldhardt. Because that's going to be an interesting battle with Henrik Andreasen here.
Yeah, I'm on
But I'm going to keep an eye on Florian Arendt's possibility to catch Sven Maggenberg for P3. Gap is now down to 7.8 seconds. Although Florian Aren has some lapping to do here.
It seems like to be on the straight, which wouldn't be the problem.
Hopefully they let him through and not interfere with the battle for P3 here. Also Sven catching up to Christian Bartani.
Oh, Bartman bit into the gravel there.
Cooling his tires.
Advanced cooling.
Okay, Sven got rid of Bertani there, and Aren also got rid of both lappers.
Still gained a second. Also, probably because of the slipstream he had on the straight.
Down to 6.5 seconds now. I think Aren has a big chance if he doesn't drop off.
Oh, Andreasen slightly into the gravel.
So if Aren doesn't drop off at the end of his stint, and he actually flew enough, who knows, then I think he can actually finish P3. He's definitely gaining, because Sven is actually currently the slowest of the top 7. Yeah, Sven lost about a second in the first sector of this lap due to the lapper. But Florian Aren also has to get rid of Bertani there soon. Maybe he can do it on the straight.
Nah, not quite that way. Bit of a long shot there, but... Oh, Andre off in... Is it
Villeneuve?
Villeneuve? Yeah, it's Villeneuve. I think now the priority is just to finish for most of the grid.
Yeah, which is already a big achievement for those in the back. Although I'm quite impressed by those, let's call them back markers, although it's not really a fair naming, but they're not that far off. Bertani only 2 laps down, actually only 1 lap down. Joel Evans also only 1 lap down, and Andre Kradrotschwil 2 laps down now.
Oh.
So that's not too bad.
You have to always to think
race.
about who you are.
Henrik with a mistake here on the gravel, and there's a yellow flag up. Fellat cannot overtake here due to the yellow flag. Yellow flag is gone now. He can overtake again.
Yeah, and he is has still a shot, I think. Still side by side with Henrik Andreasen now here. Does he try to get it along the outside? He can do it with have more grip, but in this case he doesn't. Now they get around Boney. Felt up pretty cautious there.
Oh, Henrik went off, and Fellat went into P6.
That was close. Boney misbraked there. That was pretty close with those two. But that means Fellat now into P6.
Yes, and I think he had actually the pace to be there.
Yeah. But what I tried to start to say, you always have to think about who you are up against. And, well, in this race, people like Bertani and Evans up against some of the biggest names in RaceRoom, I'd call them. Ilya Dorosakov in esports, well on the Wackenbergs, obviously known to everyone. Sebastian Reh, one of the most feared drivers in RaceRoom, especially on the Nordschleife, I think. Yeah. Also, Florian Aren made himself a name. Miklos Gall made himself a name. I think so. I think everyone who raced.
Andreas is also a really solid driver.
Yeah, just doesn't seem to find the rhythm now.
Checking on the rating, Bertani with a 1865 rating, which is quite good. Joel Evans 1770 rating. So they are rating-wise decent drivers, and it just shows how amazingly stacked that grid here is.
Yeah. I mean, if you think
22,
22. I think Sebastian Reh also has like 2190. The Magmax also both over 2000, I think.
check Sven.
Flown out has something like
2100.
1950, so...
And Marvin also 20. Oh, they almost have the same. Marvin a bit dirtier, less reputation. But Sven has also 100 more races.
My reputation doesn't tell the whole thing. I also have not the highest reputation, but mostly because I'm off track.
Sven 97 reputation, that's pretty good.
And George Evans now catching up to Krystall Vitani, less than a second between those two. But I mean, it's just... also Miklos Gall, I think he has 36 races or something in rank and 2020 rating or something.
Yeah.
So it's
98
like,
reputation as well.
So it's like ridiculous. I'm always fascinated by what kind of drivers we have in this league. While still, yeah, having quite small grids. Like usually you would think those people were rather dragged to big leagues, maybe big prizes. I mean, not everyone is after the prize. And Bertani with the mistake, and George Evans now can take the position. Just break too late, too deep. Now George Evans into 9th position. But, yeah, just like, we have small grids, but they are so stacked with drivers.
About to lose it again if he goes wide. Bertani and Evans are having a ding-dong here for the whole race.
They are having fun for sure. Oh, and now the same thing. But where shall Boney go in this situation? He left space on the inside for them to go through.
Yeah, but there was just not enough space. You know,
And
they have
side by side
moment here. Yeah, Bertani thinks better of it.
Good racing by those two.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate that the back marker was there in the way, but there's nothing really he can do there.
I mean, he left space on the inside on the racing line. They just can't get through. It's a bit... I mean, that might sound... Oh, and they switched positions again. They're doing this... maybe on purpose? I don't know. But... it's just like... In races with only one car class, the rule basically is go offline if you have blue flags, and Boney did exactly that. Now those two against side by side. Oh, and Bertani to the inside, late braking, bit over the curb there, leaving his out space again on the gravel. Now has to get off the throttle. Holy shit! And
those two are now having a blast here.
Yeah.
And
into oh, and Bertani now very wide. Still the
I'm actually amazed he made a corner there. I thought he gonna overshoot the first part.
And George Evans now in front, but they now have to let Miklos Gall through. And they do.
And Arendt's closing the gap ever so slightly. Now he's actually seeing Sven Mackenberg here. Last lap he gained 1.2 seconds. He's just over a second faster on average pace. And it's only 2 seconds now. So I was a bit wrong about maybe 3 laps to go. It's actually 10 laps to go.
30 laps to go. Well, from round, but I think it's getting close to the fight, especially once you're on 1 second range here on the slipstream. But
Florian currently second quickest on the track. Just a little shootout here that he seems to have found some pace. Last lap was a 41.4, sorry 41.5, sorry 41.6. I'm looking at the wrong table here. But his pace is a 41.5 and his best lap is a 41.4. So he's basically just quality laps. What he's doing right now, or at least his best laps he can do in the race.
You know what's interesting? At least if it's correctly displayed, everyone stick to their tires. Bertani and Quattrochville are both still on hards, and the rest all stick to softs.
Yeah, I think the softs are dropping massively after like 15 laps or so. You could tell by Arendt, for example, that he dropped off quite a bit before his pit stop. Like suddenly only doing high 41s, even 43s here and there. And the car just got harder to drive in the end. And I think also people are lucky there's no incident limit here. Because otherwise, holy cow, there are not many valid laps here from Arendt.
He might have gotten that from me. I managed like 20 invalid laps on a 6-lap Nordschleife race. Don't ask me how.
Okay, so
But
his first 25 laps, only 6 were valid. That's a bit. I don't want to know his multiplier.
But you know what will be interesting? If Florian Arendt doesn't get by fast, what will happen to his tires? Will he have the tire advantage after, let's say, 5 laps of following, 6 laps of following? He will still have an advantage, but that much of an advantage because fuel levels at this stage are nearly equal, I presume. Probably Marvin is, Sven is still on a lower map, but from the weight of the car, there shouldn't be that much difference.
It's mostly the handling.
So, if Sven Mattenberg can keep him behind, can he, as Fernando said, kill his tires?
Oh, Sven here going sideways, but this battle is on, and it's on for the rest of the race for sure. But let's see if Sven can withstand the pressure, and I think that's a fat no, because Florian Arendt is already side by side into.
Oh, a little bit of contact there, but just gets out of it early enough. Hard and fair racing.
Fair play to not stick the nose further into the gap. You just opened up because you touched him in the rear. But Florian Arendt will have a chance here into Tamburello unless Sven gets an extraordinarily good exit.
It's also interesting to see if you see them brake right behind each other, how close Florian Arendt can get on a braking, because he can brake much later with the fresher tires.
Oh, well, the fresher tires, they're just 12 laps apart. I guess the soft tire is almost finished here.
Well, when it gets bad, it can only get worse afterwards, I guess.
Yeah.
That's a Mike Bartman, close to Henrik Andreas.
Yeah, but another thing is that Sven is probably on map 2 or 3 or something like that, and Florian is on map 5.
Look how he's pushing him through Villeneuve.
Yeah, I don't think he pushed him there, but he got...
He's not pushing, but he's like, come on, go. They're basically one car. I mean, it's much like 2 Bentleys on a Nordschleife.
Oh, Sven there very late on the brakes and went a bit sideways.
Worked for him. Gained a bit of cleaner.
Florian, don't do anything stupid. Just keep your cool down. You will have the position if you keep your cool down.
Just had a look at the gap between Ilya and Marvin, and it didn't really grow that much, didn't it? It's like still hovering around 70 seconds. I think 5 to 10 laps ago it was like 16 seconds.
So Ilya just only 3/10. So.
Ilya just taking it easy now, just preserving tires.
It doesn't need to preserve tires. He's on a push strategy, but
yeah, but well, if you have much in the, maybe he just wants to go for a fast lap at the end again, or something.
Well, only got the 40.228, so I don't think he can do much faster.
But well, he doesn't have the need to push anymore. And now Florian Arendt, not quite close enough.
Sven being very smart there with the positioning of his car, just in the middle of the road where you just tell the driver behind, nah, you're not gonna do a move here. Going a bit on the outside there on the gravel trap.
Knowledge for his pace, I'd say.
You can see that Sven is not taking all the risk in the Villeneuve chicane on the left-hander.
I mean, Florian taking all of it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have the confidence and the grip in the car, you can do it. Those cars do withstand.
You can also get thrown into the wall if you get a bit unlucky there.
Yeah, but in GTR 2 cars, I think they, or what from my feel, I'm drove.
Oh, bit of shopping here.
Oh, something happened in the back as well, but no time to look. Side by side to Akomia, I haven't seen that in a long time. Oh, and now on the exit, more grip, obviously very important there. But still side by side.
Who chickens first here? Game of chicken.
They're both braking at the same time. Can Florian now get the one?
Get a better exit. Sven telling him, you're gonna get to the outside. Oh, super late on the brakes there by Sven. But he can just park the bus on the... Oh, Sven, quite impressive.
Yeah.
Racecraft here by Sven Mackenberg, honestly.
By both. It's...
No. Yes, of course. But Sven actually, with a worse car, because he's on a lower map and has shittier tires, and he can still block Florian Arendt for the now 2 laps already, which is obviously much faster.
But they play together so nicely, feels like. Like, Sven says you go there, and Florian just says, okay, I will go there and try my best. It's like, they're both just doing what they can, but not going over the limit. They both make it as clean as possible, but at the same time giving a great shot. And now Marvin a bit sideways, and now Florian out to the outside.
No, it's Sven.
Sven, sorry, I'm always... But it's like, one... for example, Sven does a slight mistake and he immediately knows I have to put my car here, and Florian can't go on the outside, on the inside. I will just immediately block off the path where he can go past. And Florian just...
I think Sven knows he can't keep it up for another 8 laps, but at least he gives Florian some run of his money.
Well, and if he keeps continuing that, who knows?
I don't know. But it's now 3 laps like this, and obviously Florian has the better pace here. Sven with a wide line there. I think that's a slowdown for Sven at least, and he gives him the outside of Rivazza Uno again. And
but
Florian is going for it.
Sticks it around the outside.
Going for the over-under here. Sven says, nope, I'm gonna block you off, but that should be it.
Now they're on the same pace on the straight. Obviously, you have 2 right-hand turns which favor Florian, but you also have a left-hand turn before the Tamburello chicane.
Yeah, and Sven is probably on a lower map. But
slight touch, but all good. This is super. Keeping it around the outside, now on the inside.
Oh.
But now Sven has to get off throttle for the left-hander, I think. And now Florian...
This is a hard battle, but I think Florian may have it here. Yes.
What a move.
Amazing stuff.
What a play together by both two. I think I've never seen 2 cars going side by side through Imola for that much and that long.
Yeah, you know, it's called a motor race.
I mean, I know Racing Zero should probably know this customer. He went off track by few millimeters there. At least on Twitter. But that's what we want to see. That's clean, that's hard. It's awesome.
Sven not giving up though, but I think it's a lost cause for Sven.
Yeah.
So he has to save fuel.
Some hazard ahead, was it? But impressive by both guys. For Sven, I think he had to use at least most of his skills to keep that charging Florian Corvette behind.
Someone going off to the Imola 10.
Boni, I think. Yeah. But yeah,
I think Florian just caught Sven a bit too early.
I think
to give Sven hopes for actually finishing third there.
I think what he did well was he didn't really set something up, but he just used the opportunity that Sven gave him by having to lift off the left-hander after going side by side. He just caught him off guard, you know. It's like, I don't think Sven expected him to be side by side through the whole Tamburello chicane, and that set him off.
Alright, so the another battle here, at least for position, that's not set in stone, is for P7. Henrik Andreasen versus Mike Bartman.
Nice trip for Bartman there already.
So if he would be on Twitch, I would have started a gamba if Mike Bartman can overtake Henrik Aniresen or not. But I guess that's not on YouTube.
I think there's also a bot for it, but I don't have it on this channel.
It's possible without, and people love doing gambas.
I know. Ask Flofto. We both have a bot. I think it's Stream Elements with that gambling shit. And me and another friend of mine in Flofto stream had like nearly 100,000 points, and we lost it all. We gambled ourselves up to like 98 and 92,000 points, and then lost it in 2 minutes. We lost everything.
That's Chat, gamble responsibly. Oh, and the guy cutting the chicane there, and Bartman going uber wide on the exit.
I think nobody really gained an advantage, but Mike Bartman now obviously with more speed might be able to do something into Rivazza. I think both had a lot of racing knowledge, so you can call either of them a rookie. And
both are the same strategy as well. Actually, just one lap apart.
I think Andreasen is on the way.
Bartman has an easy move here.
The
and goes into P7.
Indeed. Good move there. Good setup.
A reminder that you can actually change a lot in the setup of the GT2s, sorry.
Yeah, GT3s as well. So.
Actually, more than in the GT3s.
Yeah, you can gear ratio. Gear ratios actually also are pretty important on this track, because otherwise you may run out of top speed. Or out of torque. Depending on how you set it up. Both very important on this track.
That makes the car a bit interesting, because you have two compounds of tires which make strategy not obvious, and you have the changing gear ratios, which you can fine-tune the gears for each corner basically. So if you feel like, oh, I want to take this corner in third gear instead of second gear, then you just make third gear a bit shorter.
Or second gear shorter, third gear longer, something. But yeah, you really have a lot of stuff you can do on those cars. And I think Imola, not really depending on the car, but in general is a track where setup does make a lot of difference. Because you have a lot of variety in turns. You have quite high speeds on the main, quote, straight.
It's a long straight, yes.
Well, it's a straight with like 3 turns in it.
Yeah, well, not really turns.
Yeah. But
the Corvette is obviously the best car in this class.
Yeah.
Obviously, but the BMW is not that far from Weiß. Let's see.
I mean, we've got 2 BMWs in 5th and 6th.
Miklos Scar's fast level is a 42.2. I guess it's still 2 seconds slower than Ilya, but Ilya is on another level. Florian Arendt's fast lap is a 41.4.
And Markenberg's 41.6 and 42.2. Obviously on the slower strategy.
Yeah, not really.
But also, Władysław, also, if I'm not mistaken, no, I'm mistaken, 42.8. So, still, pretty good pace.
Yeah. Ilya's just in another level, yeah. But Marvin is close, or was close, after his only pit stop. So, I wonder what one. I don't know. Obviously, for Ilya, with that pace he has, and with the confidence he has, then a 2-stopper is a no-brainer for him. And I thought, I guess that Marvin was like, yeah, Ilya is gonna do the 2-stopper, so I have to try something different to actually have a chance. And it just didn't work out. But it was close. 3 laps to go here for Ilya, his last 3 laps of the race. And that race went by quite fast, at least for me.
Yeah, same. It's like, it had so many elements in it that always something was happening. Even on strategy, even with the strategy game, we still had fights on track. which you don't see in many ways. But I also think it's down to the car track and length combination, because on most 2-hour races you have one pit stop at roughly the 1 hour mark. You don't have 2 stops there, especially in classes like GT3, GT4, where you only have that one tire compound, even with mandatory pit stops. So this combination really forces drivers to choose, because you can't make a simple 1 stop, because then you have to fuel save, or you make a 2 stop, but 2 stop obviously loses your time in the pits, because also the pit straight is very long, because you not only have the typical straight with the boxes and a small entry and exit, you have a very long exit part.
Yeah, which helps the 1 stop actually.
Yeah, it really equals stuff out. So
I think both strategies were very much viable, and it shows because second and first there's 2 entirely different strategies, and both made it work.
we have 2 different strategies in the top 6 split in half. 3 on the 2 stopper and 3 on the 1 stopper. I've had to stop 2 times, 1 for fuel, but from the proper pit stops with tire changes, it's
hopefully Moment's not gonna run out of fuel here in the end, though.
That would be... Well, he is clear to do a refuel pit stop, I guess.
Nah, 40 seconds only to fuel.
40 seconds, it's close, but I think it should be clear for refueling. Few liters. Yeah, it will be close with Florian on exit, but he should remain in front. Unless Florian undercuts him on track.
Yeah, but Tiaboni just parked it in the box and he's gonna stay there.
Yeah. Still, for his, I think, I'm just presuming his first major endurance race. I mean, there were some situations, obviously, but I mean, in such a grid as a rookie, when you are being in constant pressure of being lapped because you just lack the pace because you don't have the experience so far, it's just quite a good effort to make it this far into the race, and actually he's still driving or rolling. So yeah, I think you shouldn't talk him down for anything there so much, and I'm pretty sure if he behaves like he behaves, he will learn from the mistakes he makes during the race. And maybe at some point we will see him up top fighting the Magdeburgs, Miklos Gall or the Dvorsakov. So everything's possible.
Oh, Marvin, with a almost spin here. Just
tires are dead, I guess.
Tires are very dead, and he's just dreading those last lap. So Ilya on his final lap.
Actually, you can see Miklos Gall, he's close about lapping position 5, but sadly don't have a viewer I can see it, but maybe you can take a look at the steering.
I think I have it disabled.
Ah, I don't.
Yeah.
But for now, maybe also because of the used tires and the car behaves a bit different overall, but much more stable this time. I mean, the biggest moment I remember is like in the 911 GT3 Cup cars, in the endurance ones, at Hockenheim, where he just straight up drifted through every corner. Like, basically straight up drifted. That was the one where it took out Cassell on accident, if you remember. With where you and Christian were in the voice, because I couldn't see him at all. And well, he ended up in KCG.
Marvin, what you doing? Gave Hendrik Andreasen a big scare here. But that's the last 2 corners for Ilya Dvorsakov. And almost as predicted, he well, I would have put my money on this guy, but
yeah,
as predicted, he won the race with a 2-stopper, and it was quite dominant showing.
On pace all time. Nice drift into the finish. Yeah, what a performance by him. I mean, huge pace, big strategy game.
Kept out of incidents.
Kept out of fights as well.
Yeah. Also, big shootout to Fellhead P6 and Mike Bartman. That's a lot of smoke, mate. Mike Bartman P7 and George Evans in the Cadillac P9, top 10 in the Cadillac. That's also something to be proud of.
Marvin
Finishing.
Luckenberg now coming into P2. Behind him, Henrik Andreasen P8. And then
Disappointing race for Henrik, I would say, but there were some incidents he was involved with, so. And he also was on the. Oh, he had also a drive-through, but he was also on the one. So that kind of didn't work out for him. Big shootout also to Andrei Kratochvil for finishing this race in P11, and just behind him P10 is Christian Bertani. Very solid race on the hard compound tires here.
And P3, Florian Arendt.
And that's also P4 for Sven Maggenberg. Unfortunately, couldn't keep Florian Arendt behind, but
those two, they put up a show for
the podium, for the money, yeah.
For everything, for years to come. I don't know. I think it was one of the best racing I've seen in a long time. Niklas Gall, now the last finisher in P5. Well, not the last finisher, but
the first non-Corvette.
Yeah, as well. Best non-OP car.
Best non-OP car, yeah.
But what a performance by so many drivers on this.
He actually drove out of the pit again to finish his race.
Yeah.
Despite 15 laps down, but
shows us 11 on my screen, but race winner and fastest lap as well, obviously. Ilya Dvorozikov, Marvin Markenberg in P2 in front of Florian Arm. Those three got themselves 500 VIP. And Sven Markenberg just had a few too many mistakes in the race and also was very unfortunate with some lap traffic. Miklos Gall, the best non-Corvette in P5 in front of his BMW colleague Radoslav Piatkowski. Mike Bartman and Henrik Andreasen in the Corvettes, also both in the one-stopper. Then we've got Evans and Bertani by the Yorkshire Racing Team in P9 and P10. Kratochvil, our last-minute driver, in P11. Boney, last one to finish the race, in P12. And then really unfortunate, DNF for Sebastian Risi. Luckily the only DNF we have, but so unfortunate.
Yeah, that's just... Sometimes you cannot also avoid people. But I'm gonna have a tiny look-see here in the replay if it loads. Punted off, so Jordan's also said he got punted. Definitely something we gonna look at and apply penalties accordingly.
So, do you want to do at least some interviews? Maybe Ilya wants. I mean, he was always very desperate on them in season 2.
Okay, I'm gonna just tag him.
I think we could
do an interview. That rhymes.
Just let me get any background picture.
Alright, I have the incident here.
There we have at least something to look at.
No, that's definitely on Hendrik's. That's on Hendrik, I think. Although,
at least my fuel calculation was on point %. Well, not only the fuel calculation, I think the driving was also pretty much on point in the second stint. I could not find the rhythm at all. Yeah, once you get out of the rhythm, it's very hard. You weren't the only one, I think, during the race. Had multiple drivers who just couldn't find rhythm.
Watching the replay, first instinct is that's totally on Henrik's side, but obviously gonna take another look at that. But that's gonna incur a penalty for sure. Then we're gonna have a look of some rejoins and some starting incidents that got reported at least. So, but I don't think Marvin and Florian were in incidents that are noteworthy, or at least penalty worthy, as far as I know. So I guess we can already say they're pretty safe for their 500 VRP. So big congrats to Ilya Trovosikov, who wants to do an interview, and Marvin Mackenberg and Florian Arendt.
Oh,
Hello.
Sorry
hello.
but hello, Ilya, and first of all, congrats to a very dominant race you had.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dennis. Yeah.
So you went for the two-stopper with like basically 3 same stints. So you compared to Marvin, who did the one-stopper with lots of fuel saving. You thought about that one, that strategy?
Yeah, I thought about it, but compared to it, I thought like the two-stopper was more the advantage. You have fresh tires all the time, and then you don't have to, look out for the fuel. You just can push all the way.
You want to push, right? Amazing fast lap, by the way. It was a 40.22 or something like that.
Yeah, thanks. You want to hear a funny story?
Oh, sure.
On my first stint, there was a pop-up on the right bottom of my screen.
Or was it
And-
antivirus?
And I pressed close, and my screen went black. So I had to get back to RaceRoom again, and I lost like 10 seconds. I crashed into the wall, had
Oh, did you?
damage, had to I had to repair it.
So you actually had damage. I saw that you had damage, and I was like, what the hell? Where did that come from? I didn't see that.
Yeah, that's
That
thanks
might
to
explain.
Streamlabs.
Oh yeah. Shootouts to Streamlabs for absolutely garbage software. Oh, you actually streamed the race, or was it
No,
just...
no. It was just a pop-up
Oh god.
to make the race more interesting.
Imagine having a DNF because of that.
Yeah, I thought about it. I was like, no, please. But luckily, everything went all right.
So, how did you do a 40.2 in the race, but not in qualifying, by the way?
Learning the car and track combo.
Yeah, pretty much. I didn't practice too much for it, so...
What
just
the hell?
was-
40.2 is actually top leaderboard time. I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I did some leaderboards today and some 2 weeks ago. Just, I like always, I just jump in. Sometimes I have a setup in my pocket. Like this time I had to set up, so I knew like, if the car felt comfortable, and I didn't really have to practice because of it. So
I think it's a very, very enjoyable combo as well. GT2s are fun cars.
Indeed. I really had a lot of fun. And thanks to the voice chat, it was even more fun.
I guess hanged out always. So there's going to be another one-off race in October, I think.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And it's going to be GT3 though.
September, I think, or not? October, September?
Yeah, something like that. Just after the summer holidays and so on. And I want to invite you, Ilya, to join that race as well. It's also going to be a longer race, obviously, for one-off. And
Yeah, sure.
it's going to be GT3, and
Yeah, definitely love it. Favorite car.
and I hope you're going to choose a car that is not OP there.
I'll have to think about it.
I would also encourage people to use not only the Corvette or the... I'm not sure what else is OP there. Maybe some people using the Porsche or the Bentley or something like that. Have you driven the Ferrari? I'm curious.
Not yet. I just bought it when from the ranked championship when I got the VRP vouchers.
Yeah, you also congrats! You're also getting one now, basically.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yay.
So you can
Nice.
you can buy Donington Park or Interlagos.
Of course.
Came out if you haven't done it yet.
Yes, I definitely will.
So,
Definitely.
congrats to that one, and it's gonna be sent in a week or so. I hope.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Always enjoyable event. KCG is one of my favorite leagues, also in terms of
Oh,
people. Like, not only the pace is good of the drivers, but also the community is great. That's why I love this league. It's like the only community league I'm driving, actually.
Let's see. Guys, if you're in chat right now and you hear that from Ilya Torozikov, then why not just join that one-off race in a few months to come and join this awesome community race. And there's probably also maybe, who knows, another season coming after that one in the winter time. You maybe want to also join that one. I am not entirely sure you are up for that, but that's about it. Lino, if you have anything more to ask, or
Well,
if Ilya wants to say anything more, then
well, I
now's your
can't
space.
really ask anything much more because you already asked everything. But yeah, I can already tell with the season 4, which might also be interesting for Ilya, it will be something very new, especially for KCG. So might be interesting. Might shuffle the order a bit, and we might
mean
see
like
some
season
returning
4?
names. Yeah, season 4.
Oh,
If everything goes right, I hope so. Or other side, if not too much goes wrong, you'll have a 4th season in autumn and winter. So I think
that's cool.
we can look forward to that one. But more than
you got
that,
Ilya, you got the last words.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the event.
Like, subscribe.
Yeah. No, join the league. Join the league. It
Oh,
really
you guys
deserves
gotta
all the
subscribe.
glory.
Yeah. So I hope the Discord link is in the subscription.
first link in the description. I hope.
Yes, there's this. Yeah. And get your eyes peeled for some news to come.
Yeah. Prices, by the way, will be paid out in 1 week when we've judged all the incidents and have the final results. So, yeah, should be all done then.
Also, Ilya, good luck for Friday 2.4 hour spa. I assume you're going to do that as well.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So, definitely something I would probably watch.
Yeah, you definitely. It will be a lot of action as well, I guess. But what I can tell from the times, it will be pretty much spread out this time. I don't know what happened with the cars and with the updates, like the handling. But what I noticed is really big time differences. Apart from drivers, I mean.
Yeah, a bit has changed definitely.
That's what I don't like. There are some quite a lot of good drivers. They're just by some points 2 or 3 seconds slower because of physics, I guess. And to me, that's a bit of a shame. I hope this can change in the future.
Yeah. Gonna be interesting to see.
I guess.
I guess you're gonna take the Corvette for that 2.4 hours.
Yeah.
Marvin
yeah,
has a
I will.
message for you too. I hope you're not so much faster there too.
Should I spoil my quali time there with the
15.8.
not so quick, luckily.
I was probably close enough.
It's in the 16s.
Yeah, I would force it too.
Yeah.
I actually don't remember what we did in the first season here. At Spa, we had Spa, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but the other, yeah, I mean, for lap time it shouldn't make a difference, I guess. But
Oh, okay. We are checking what Ilya did, and the results is still up. Don't think.
But wasn't it on the old before they changed the handling, or was it afterwards? I think they wiped the leaderboards when they changed the force feedback and stuff. Last
Yeah,
year.
that was before it. Yeah,
And it
yeah,
was before, I think.
16.3 in the AMG there, which was not your first choice either, right?
Yeah. It was different physics and no bop, which also is quite affecting.
Well, bopping is always very controversial, to say the least.
Yeah. Next time we're gonna give the Corvette 80 kilograms for sure. If we do a GT2 race again.
Yeah. You have to force me to take another car then.
The P45. The only non-bobbed car. But alright, so that's about it of the stream, and thanks for watching.
Marvin wanted to have an interview, I think, and Floftov seems like it as well.
Oh, then I'm a bit rude here.
Marvin, you have to join the voice chat though if you want to be here.
If Marvin P2 wants to join for an interview, then you have to go in the voice chat so I can drag you into the booth. And I'm gonna drag Ilya out of the booth.
Alright, take care, guys.
Congrats to your win, and see you soon, and good luck on Friday.
Bye, thanks.
Bye.
Well, we can move Floftov in, I guess.
P3, Florian, Arendt, very well done. You had a really good fight with Sen in the end, and it was very enjoyable to watch. A very hard and fair fight there. So
yeah, it was also great to drive against him.
You had a bit of a interesting race. You were up in P2 and then you dropped off a bit with a few mistakes. Suddenly you were in P6 after a lap from P2. But you called back to P3, which is quite impressive. So you got your head down and got those positions back and finished in the money. So congrats for that, P3 in the end. Anything you want to say about?
I was really doubting if I had finished that race after the first stint.
What was it?
I was always about to quit. I couldn't get a rhythm with these tires.
But to be fair, you weren't the only one. I mean, with Sven, who we were at the epic fight, he also, like, at some point in the race, I think it was even quite early as well. I think right after you had your rhythm breakdown, he also, like, did mistake after mistake, and in the end, we both were P3 and P4. So
yeah, I think already lap 10 or around that. It was really really bad.
Yeah, but after that, second and third stint seems like they went quite well.
Yeah, well, I was prepared.
I don't know. You don't sound happy about that P3. I think that's a really impressive finish, considering the skill of the grid.
Dennis, don't worry. I know him. It's normal. It's normal. Oh no.
It is impressive. I know.
So you should be quite happy with yourself. But maybe you wanted more. Then then shit happens.
But
it's a good result, and it was fun.
Yes,
that's the most important thing.
Yes.
And money.
Money.
I don't care about that.
All right. Anything you want to say about the race or something else? Then that's your chance. Otherwise, Marvin's waiting for getting here.
I did had a bit of touch with Boney, I think.
Yeah, I think most people had a bit of a touch with them, but we will look at that, obviously.
Yeah, I got some damage, suspension damage from that.
Yeah.
But nothing big. But yeah, thanks to everyone I raced.
Yeah, thanks for coming out and race, and I think you did an amazing job.
Yeah, especially with the progression over the seasons and races in KCG. I mean, if you think about the mini season where it started out and now you're fighting for podiums in so competitive grids.
Yeah, you got 1 point in that mini season, and now you're actually on the podium. Come on, man, you should be proud of yourself. And big shootout to Florian Arendt for sticking with sim racing, despite having a bit of a hard time early on. But now you're a pretty decent driver, so wanna
thank you.
See you improve even more, and maybe perhaps you're actually gonna do the 2.4 hour on Friday as well, this spa race.
I signed up, yeah, but I'm probably not on the live server.
Ah, that's a shame. What's your rating?
1,950,
I guess.
40 or 50, something like that.
Might be a bit too shy.
Yeah, the 2.4 also will be full of aliens with like... Jose Luis last year for the 2.4 hours had like 2,200 rating. Now he has 2,400. It's ridiculous.
It was enough for the Nürburgring 2.4 hours.
Yeah. But I
But
think that
probably not for this bar.
was also leaderboard limited.
Oh yeah.
I think they should go back to leaderboard limited. But anyways.
Yeah. I'd like that.
Thanks for joining the race tonight, and congrats for a superb P3 finish. And
Thanks for hosting it.
Yeah, I hope we're gonna see you in the next one-off race coming after just some holidays, early autumn, and maybe even in the coming season, perhaps, that if it's happening, we don't know yet. So, gonna drag you out. Goodbye and enjoy your night.
You too.
Just cut him off.
I'm
So
moving.
Hello, Marvin Buckenberg, and congrats first of all to a very impressive P2 with a alternative strategy after all. So, question: do you think a two-stopper for you would have been faster, or?
No. It was quite clear. If I pushed more and used more fuel, I lost consistency. So I was always faster if I save a bit of fuel and go by it a bit more safely.
And that turned out to be a good approach, because after Ilya's second pit stop, he was actually not that far away from you. You may have noticed.
Yeah, that was a bit of a shame. I had one or two mistakes. Otherwise, I would have been ahead of him. And then it would have been interesting.
Yeah, your product actually showed how to defend against someone who did the two-stepper against Florian. He held him for like 4 laps at best, but it was very obvious that Florian was so much quicker on his alternative strategy, or the main strategy. Who knows what the main strategy in the alternative would be? But yeah, the difference between, I guess you were on map 2.
I was on map 5 the entire race.
Actually, map 5? Yeah?
Yeah, when I fuel save, I never use a different engine map. I think it's faster to short shift and lift and coast.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, take notes, chat. Take notes.
Learn from the best.
Yeah, that also might be the reason why I guess Sven did the same, I assume.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so that's probably the reason why he didn't lost out on the straight. Huh, interesting. But yeah, not sure if he would have kicked Elia behind though.
But also
probably
Sven
not.
played a lot with the slipstream, to be fair. It's also, I think, quite a big factor on those cars with the slipstream.
Yeah, if you're behind on straight, you just go 50% throttle or something like that and save a ton of fuel.
But yeah, obviously, great result.
Yeah, very good result considering you actually did something different than P1 and P3 and got rewarded in the end with a very impressive P2. Probably the best you would have done anyway, considering Ilya's absolutely astounding pace he has.
Yeah, I have no idea how he can be so fast. In the GT3, he's maybe a second faster, but here it's 1.5 at least.
Yes, that was quite impressive. You weren't even in the 40s in the qualifying, I think. Sven got P2, but you were P5, if I'm not wrong.
1/10 of something like that.
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah.
what I'm asking myself, did you at least roughly know what was happening, or could you really estimate where you are in the race position? Which position are you fighting for? Because we've seen 3 drivers in the top 6 went for 1 stop and 3 drivers for 2 stop. Like, could you keep track of everything that happened? Or was it like, okay, I'm just driving and looking where I am in the end?
It was a bit of a guessing game. I knew I was probably ahead of Niklas and Florian, but I didn't know if Florian was going to be close and maybe attack, or like it was in the end 30 seconds behind. I had no idea about that, and Ilya was probably out of the picture anyway, so I didn't really pay attention to him.
Well,
Yeah.
fair play.
That's fair enough. So you're not using like any enhancing apps like second monitor on the side or something similar?
I'm just using Otterhut.
Yeah.
But that's, yeah, I can see the gaps, but I don't know the pit stop delta, so it doesn't help too much for that.
Yeah, then the second monitor app actually shows you the pit deltas. And with the latest update, you actually can also see where you come out on the track if it's set correctly, which is
That
quite
sounds
interesting.
pretty nice.
Yes, it does. Actually, it does sound pretty nice. But yeah, anyway, that's P2 for you, and I think you're going to be also on the Spa 2.4-hour race on Friday, I guess.
Yeah, of course.
Of course.
That will be very interesting.
Yeah, so good luck for that one as well, and I hope to see you also there on some. What you're aiming for there? Curious to hear that.
That's
Obviously,
a
you don't know
difficult
who's.
question.
Yeah, you don't know who shows up in the end, but top 10 with all the aliens showing up, with all the esports aliens.
D10 would actually be a bit disappointing.
Oh,
I think
sorry. P5?
Yeah, P5 would be great. Somewhere around P5, P7, that would be pretty nice. I think I have a decent pace and a pretty good strategy.
What car are you choosing? Are you willing to tell?
Yeah, could just look at my past ranked races. It's always old
Corvette.
Bentley.
Okay.
I
Well,
hate
but-
the Corvette now.
But old Bentley, at Spa, I always need to think of Dennis and Christian doing the Bentley game.
But don't tell anyone. Don't tell anyone. That's because that car is not popped anymore.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it will be pretty interesting. No one will be able to overtake me on the straights, so
Yeah, it's difficult
It's
to
a
overtake.
it's a pretty valid car choice, I guess. And you have a long
Yeah.
one in that car, not like the R8.
Yeah, that's the strength of the Bentley. It's pretty good on the straight.
Yeah,
and
just
it
do
has massive
2.4
fuel.
hours on one tank, you're good to go.
Yes.
on one tank is a bit difficult.
With
What's
the
possible?
correct driving style, it's possible.
Definitely possible.
In the R8, you could
but-
push the car and you would still run out of fuel.
So I guess I'm gonna see you leading the race after 1 hour in the bit on that Spa race. Otherwise, that would be a bit disappointing.
Yeah, if I get a clean race, but I know at least one or two guys also taking the Bentley, so I
Yes.
first have to beat them.
Yes.
As long as there won't be a rejoin this time. But yeah, I think that's another topic.
Yeah, I hope we have a clean race, but everyone has high rating and pretty good reputation, so it should be all right.
I mean,
Maybe
last
a
year we
bit
also
aggressive.
had like Jack Keithley on the grid, and Moritz Löhner was also there.
Yeah, but they won't be able to because they don't have the rating.
Rip.
Yeah, they are too slow.
Ah, yeah. Luno's way too slow. Absolute garbage noob
I
now.
also can't stand that guy really. I mean, it's just
Yeah, everyone hates him, of course.
yeah.
So it's
I mean,
not a
he's so
DTM.
nice to people. Why are people nice to people? I don't like it.
Oh, you actually could do it because there's no DTM weekend right now, right?
No, it's 1 month from now. Still.
Okay.
And maybe he can do a guest start. It would be pretty nice.
Yeah, I think RaceRoom should invite those people that are obviously good enough.
Yeah,
not-
there's
not
no
having the
question
rating.
about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But oh well. Then, first of all, congrats to a very impressive P2. Money is gonna send towards you within a week or so. And I don't think you had any incidents that are noteworthy.
No, I don't think so.
And a lot of luck in that 2.4-hour race coming up for you, especially with the outside choice once more and the alternative strategy.
Yeah, thanks.
So thanks for coming out, and I hope we see you back on the grid at KCG for the next one-off race in September or October. We don't know yet.
Of course, if I have the time, I'll surely join.
All right.
That's good. to hear. I think you're the only one, or one of the only ones. I think there are only 2 people who really attended every KCG race so far. Or
think it's-
every season.
no.
Every season.
Every season, yes, but
Not every
the
race, yeah. it's true.
GT4 season
It's true, yeah.
was a bit difficult, I think. Sven and
Yeah.
I only had one wheel there.
but every season is still a good record. I think not many share this anymore.
Yeah, it's just a great community, so I'm always happy to be here.
Just you actually didn't win that much. Sorry to say that, but you only have. Okay, you have 5 wins in what, like 26 races?
But also 3 out of 4 championships vice champion.
Yeah, that's a bit disappointing.
and another P2 in an endurance race. It's a bit getting time.
Okay, yeah, it's just so that I saw always second place. Man, step up your game.
Yeah, I have to improve. I really suck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. On that note, then, thanks for coming out and thanks for joining the booth here at the end. And congrats to P2 and good luck for Friday.
Thanks a lot and see you soon.
See you.
Bye.
All right. I think that closed off the stream quite well. So.
All right. So thanks for watching and hit the subscribe button if you haven't, and don't miss anything that's coming up soon in KCG. If you want to join a race, there's a Discord link below. You can join, and if you're interested in racing with us, then feel free to ask. Next one-off race is coming up in about 8 to 10, maybe 12 weeks or so. Having a bit of a summer breakdown. Yeah, probably also a breakdown. Summer break. So if you wish to join the grid, you're very welcome, despite your skill level, or maybe because of your skill level. I am not sure what I'm gonna say here, but
KCG is basically open to all kinds of skill levels, and if you have any questions or need help in sim racing, there are a lot of people around who will help you out.
yes, that's what I wanted to say. I just couldn't find the words. Thanks,
I
Vega.
obviously know what you want to say.
We are one brain.
One brain cell together. But yeah, have a good night. Enjoy your sleep. Check out Friday's race. See some of the KCG boys walking that race as well.
Yes, cheer on at that 2.4 hour race at Spa. That's a very good watch, I would say.
Yeah,
That's
never disappoint.
One of the RaceRoom highlights of the year, with the N24 and the Daytona 24.
Yeah.
Those 3 races are the big ones of RaceRoom, and you should definitely not miss out on that. On that note, thanks for watching and see you soon. Goodbye.
Goodbye.